Alright, we're live now. Let's mute it. I need to. Alright. Intro. We're about to go live on Solo Large. Bang. Alright. I don't know if it was possible, but I'm shitter than I was yesterday. Alright, we are live. I don't know if anyone's around. Alright, YouTube chat's there. It should be. Oh, it closed the Twitch down on me. No!
We were live.
Yeah, we were. We weren't. Alright, hey, there's one viewer. Sweet. That's us. Woo! Pop out this chat. There we go. Put this over there. Hey, there's Citizen Ninja. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, Citizen Ninja.
Just bear with me. I'm laptoping shit together again.
And we'll get the bot up shortly as well.
Yep. Oh.
And I was pulling this out to follow the chat on YouTube.
Yeah.
I did say they like the green screen on the crapple.
On the what?
The green screen on the crapple.
Oh, where did you buy that from? The garbage? That looks like it's made of garbage bags. It's not really bad.
Tell Beck that she bought it.
Oh, oops. Alright, I won't say anything. Well, you've just told everyone who Beck is.
No, I just said Beck.
Remember how I wanted to tell you guys things?
Shut up.
He did it himself now. He's in trouble.
You did it.
No, you did it.
You were bad.
You mentioned a name.
So what?
Look, and there's my phone. If everyone gives a shit, see, mine's better.
Yeah, but mine's got a green
screen. Okay. Yeah, okay, shut the fuck up. All right, you win. Right.
That's what I was saying yesterday.
Oh,
I like the green screen.
Now. Invisible phone.
That's right.
It literally looks like he's got a garbage bag and recycled it, put it around his phone.
There you go.
It's that same Australian garbage bag colour.
Yeah, that's much better. Much better.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go to our screen.
Though how he's treating me now, he's actually been looking after me fairly well. I've been really fucking sick.
Yeah, spent the day doing laundry, you know, all the fun stuff.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Willow.
Willow. I could learn everyone's names. It's freaking me out. Oh, that's so good. Right.
That's so good.
So,
water. Wonderful.
Yesterday, after we streamed with you guys, we went basically to CIG and we went to a restaurant near there, and for about an hour and a half, wouldn't it have been?
Had an enlightening conversation with two wonderful gentlemen.
Yeah, from CIG that I've long wanted to pick their brain. So we sat with Ben Curtis and John Crew, and I think they were a bit timid at the start, but they soon realised we weren't there to grill them. Yeah, I think that was what. No, it wasn't that at all, was it?
Well, I think you know we'd let them know that we wouldn't record, we wouldn't do a recording. It wasn't an interview.
Well, we didn't even take a photo. We didn't even take a photo.
No,
we probably should have done up for prosperity.
I think we've forgotten every time we've had one of those.
Well, it's just not mine and your way. Like we kind of feel like
we've. How many times?
It's not an Australian thing, is it? No. It feels a bit smucky.
How many times have we spoken with Aaron and Brian now?
Oh, at least four times? Yeah. I've recorded videos to send to Morph for him. I recorded a video from Ben yesterday to send to Grim.
Yeah.
And sent them to them, but we don't do stuff for ourselves.
No. But we've run into Brian and Aaron 2 or 3 times just in the street. We ended up talking to them.
Let me put up the bot, or I'm going to forget. I've already forgotten. You know what I'm like. I'm not. I got to tell you, I've been super scatterspraying the last 24 hours. I just make a mistake. Well, I clanged my knee this morning. That was awful.
Oh, he's been
all over the place.
This is a nice change of scenery for X.
I haven't left the room.
He hasn't left the room, so I had to drag him kicking and screaming out of the room.
Pretty much. I just wanted to do it in the room. I said, can't we just do it here?
I said, no, you need a change of scenery.
Like, no, I could just do the whole stream from bed. It'd be great. Honest.
And you break the illusion of us being awesome and wonderful and organised.
I'm going to have to open Discord. Oh, it's going to make that awful noise again. Discord?
I hate that sound.
How does it know about stream mode but not mute itself? It's god awful.
Yeah. It should go in streamer mode and kill itself.
That's what I'm saying. It should.
All right, so the bot should be up.
I've got to start it yet. Hang on. All right, now she should be up. Double checking. Yep, we're good. Can someone do me a test? There we go. No, never mind.
Nova 42 has that question in already.
Yep, he's got. Hang on, let me get the Twitch shit back up. So we've got a sec. We remembered Algrid actually had a laptop today, so we've now got two.
Yeah,
so you've got it in disgusting white, and I can't read it.
Yeah, but I can.
My eyeballs. Oh, you can do all the questions, then that's fine.
I can read the questions, so that's okay. So apart from John Crew and Ben Curtis, we've also had probably an hour chill chat with Sandy, and also then we ran into one of the QA designers and a level designer.
So this,
one of the QA.
I'm just going to show you this real quick. This is all the stuff we wrote. I'm deliberately showing it upside down.
Yeah.
This is all the stuff we wrote down. There's like 4 pages of notes or more.
X, your writing is so bad.
No one's going to be able to read it. I can read it.
Yeah, you can read it. I would have.
It's all in code, Algrid. That's why.
I would have trouble transcribing it, and I'm a teacher used to reading crappy writing.
Yeah, but I also wrote it blind.
Yeah.
With no, and I was sick.
But we also had a.
Well, next time you can do it all.
Yeah, fine. We also had chats with one of the QA and one of the level designers. Just chilling and chillaxing with them.
Yeah, Kelly, Drix, and Magnus.
Magnus.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
And an hour conversation.
That was enlightening though too.
Yep.
To get a different stuff and this perspective, kind of more in the middle area of the company.
Yeah. And we had a chat with Sandy as well, which was also just enjoyable.
Yeah. We did the same. We just all approached them as normal conversations, not as a interview or pressure or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I quite enjoyed the one with Sandy because we were munching Maltesers, doing taste comparisons. With,
it was back to almost where it was in 2014, just all very jovial and having a bit of fun.
Yeah, well, that's Australians mixing with Australians. Yeah. So, which was very pleasant. But
it's even the Australians we've run into here. Even some of the New Zealanders we've run into. Like it's almost like coming home when you talk to another Aussie
or in New Zealand. Yeah. There's a couple of.
Well, I relate a lot to New Zealanders because I'm in Tassie, and we have to put up with mainland Australia. So.
He's always on it. Always on about that.
Oh, damn mainlanders, man. They're shocking.
But there's a couple of there's an Australian and a New Zealander who's actually at the hotel we're staying at.
Yeah. We were testing the New Zealander because we go chips and she goes chips and she didn't say chops, and then we go say deck and she went dick. We went, and then you went 6-7 and she went 6-7.
Yeah, definitely New Zealand. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So all right. So first question off the deck is from Nova 42. Nova 42 says, with the Pioneer in the next 12 months silhouette art lineup. Didn't actually say the next 12 months. It said.
I think it said before the end of next year or something to that fact.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think they said before the end of next year. I think they said in production or something like that. So it was a bit.
We'll have to go back and look. I'm sure someone on chat will let us know. Someone do a question as a statement. Let me know what it was because I can't quite remember.
I can't remember, but I didn't think it was as clear as last year. And I heard people saying making that distinction, but
there is actually one from that photo that's interesting, which was the Guardian because it's in both.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about this last night. That means it's got to be coming after AIE.
Yeah.
So that means it's going to be like the Sans RPI and come in December.
Well, the other one we were watching Level Cap Gaming this morning, and whoever
that was last night, but yeah.
And they had the image of the Terrapin medical vehicle, and the door was open, and you could see the AIE
door. I
can't
remember that guy's name. No, it wasn't Level Cap. It was someone else. We watched a few other people's reactions to see what other people thought.
But that was an indication we're going to see the Terrapin medical.
I'm not going to remember the guy's name, but yeah, he's a much smaller creator, but he did an all right job. He went through and
he did a very good with that. He did the analysis of the Star Lancers.
That was Space Tech, which we know fairly well. I recommend what he's done. It was pretty good.
That was a pretty good analysis. Some things we initially thought, well, hang on, that's not right. But then when it came to the when he was looking at the
once we went through it, it was
once we went through it, we went, oh, the medical beds.
He's definitely got a lot better. Yeah. Well, we talked with him a fair bit in Discord.
But when we were first watching, we said, why would you do nursery in the galaxy?
Yeah.
And then it was when we were looking at the attack, we went, because the medical beds are not in the Galaxy. They're in the
Well,
attack.
again, we haven't looked at that stuff yet.
No,
just haven't had a chance.
that's our disadvantage. Normally we'd have probably gone over those 2 or 3 times since Citizencon, and because we're here,
haven't had a chance. It's a priority order thing. You've got to strike while we're in Manchester.
So, which is another reason why we're doing another live stream while we're in the same room.
Yeah, because after Friday, we're not going to be most likely not be back together again.
We don't give that opportunity to do that in real life, and it is a pleasure. So, anyway,
yeah, I think base building is something they're striving for. I think that shows why the pioneers in production. It also makes me think that space stations are a big part of it.
Yeah, but I can guarantee you we won't get any of the building material, any of the building equipment until base building at any level of base buildings in, and that's why we don't have the Grey Cat FM available yet, because the base building mechanics not there.
So you can see the SM and the SM skins in the files, but you can't see the FM. That's exactly right.
So,
I think we do need to talk about the elephant in the room that's going to come after that, though.
Yeah, I do think so.
We learned a very important piece of information. We had a lot of people asking us, even yesterday, someone asked in the stream about the Galaxy. And I think it was like the second question I asked, because we didn't go in with the only question we asked initially to John and Ben was, is there anything we can do that we're doing right or doing wrong that could help you guys?
And they basically went,
no, it's
thumbs up. Yeah, basically you're doing a good job.
And then
Ben was shocked by the upgrade path.
So the CCUs do his head in.
Blew his mind.
Yeah,
blows my mind in sometimes too. So,
but then I asked him about the Galaxy, because I said, well, you've got the BLD now and the Galaxy that are essentially the same size, which they are. They're both S4.
And they confirmed that as well.
Yeah, they confirmed they were the same size. And I just went, well, you told us of a manufacturing module. And then and I said, so why are they the same?
And John kind of gave his little...
Is this the first time we're going to see 2 ships directly competing?
And John gave his little smirk and said, well, it's not been sold. It's not guaranteed.
So, yeah, a lot of people I know brought that thinking it's going to be a base builder. And
well, I know we bought it, or at least CCUs to it, with the intention of...
He didn't really say any more than that, but he really heavily hinted. He also talked about another module, didn't he, instead?
Yeah.
So I think they've taken building off the Galaxy.
Yeah. We can't guarantee it.
No, but if I was a betting man, I'd be buying a CCU for the BLD just in case, if that's what you're after. That's what I intend to do. That's the whole reason I brought my CCU for the Galaxy.
Yeah. And mind you, at the price they're looking at for the Star Lancers,
it's a lot cheaper.
It's a bloody good price.
Yeah. Well, it depends what it comes out at, because you've got the TAC at 330. I'd have to assume the build's going to be a little bit more, 350. But even then, it's $30 cheaper than the Galaxy without the module.
Well, you look at the Max, and yes, it's a bigger ship than a Connie Taurus, but I think it surpasses a Connie Taurus. It's roughly the same crew, maybe not be as agile. It's got similar firepower. It's got larger cargo.
It's a little...
It can take a vehicle without mucking up the stuff. The crew quarters are so much better.
From what I've seen on the videos that you and I watch, again, we haven't sat down and looked at the website, which is what we really should do. We just haven't had time. By the time we get home, we're freaking exhausted. And I've been sick. But when I look at the videos, the TAC is essentially a downward-facing Redeemer, where the Redeemer's a bit more across the board. It's obviously got more gunfire, and it's got some vehicles, some more troops and stuff like that. But you've also got a footprint that's like 4 times the size or more.
I think it's a bigger footprint, but it is actually a ground assault vehicle. It is. It literally is for you've got your squad of troops, you've got room for a vehicle, you've got a small fighter to do close in air support. You've got got the heavy.
So I'm just going to call it as I see it. The TAC ain't worth the time, and the fucking Max ain't worth the time, because you got better. The build's the only one that's worth a damn. That's just how I see it.
So
because of its size.
I would say, even with the size, the Max, when you compare it to the ships around it that it's competing with, I actually think it's comparable.
It is comparable, but I think it kills the Valkyrie a lot just due to price.
Oh, if you're looking at the TAC, I think certainly.
Mm.
But if you're looking at the price of the Max, it's not that much cheaper than a Taurus.
That's my point.
And it's the same price as an Andromeda, and it's got
And it's
more,
not that much more when you get to a Caterpillar, and it does twice as much almost.
but it's got more size 3 missiles than an Andromeda.
Again, it
So
allows
again,
you player options.
player options.
But I still, again, if you're, it's like a almost like a generalist between two things instead of tailoring it to one thing, and that's I tend to favour the one tailored instead of something that can't decide what it wants to do.
Well, I think the Max does what it wants because it doesn't have the ground down firing lasers. It is just a 4-person cargo ship. It's got more cargo than a Connie. I think it's better than a Connie, although the Connie is smaller and will get into better places.
And that's the thing.
But
you'd expect a bigger ship to be better.
But then if you're looking at the Connie, when you take a Connie and Taurus, if you want to take a vehicle, you're sacrificing half your cargo. If you take the Lancer, you can take a vehicle and not sacrifice your cargo space. So it's kind of a
it's making too many compromises. That's my problem. Again, you can say it how you said. I'm not going to disagree with you. Your opinion is your opinion. In my opinion, the BLD is the only one worth a damn. Because it'll build in a large size, and there's not going to be any other ship that can do that. Where the TAC, there are other options. Where the Max, there are other options. You tell me there's another option for large base building. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but they're not like, yeah. But in terms of the variants, if you're after a base builder, that is the one to go for.
Again, I'd put the question off to people that like the Redeemer. Do you prefer the TAC, and stuff like that? But again, when it comes to size of a craft, I think that's where the TAC's going to really struggle. It's too big.
I think that the size will be an issue, but in terms of the things you can bring to support your squad, so you can bring their vehicle with them. You can't do that with Redeemer. You've got better downward facing turrets on the TAC, which gives better ground support. You've got small fighter you can bring in. So it can do a lot more to support that squad. But again, the large size will make it slower, but it does have an extra shield.
But as soon as you start to look at things like 2 Redeemers,
yeah,
you see where I'm going? Like it falls off pretty quickly.
It's so yeah, you've got other options for your squads, and I think that's the beauty of those ground assault ships.
Actually,
I think it's a better ground assault ship than the Redeemer.
Yeah, we did actually talk to them about the Furies as turrets too, and they said they actually had thought about that at one point.
They actually considered making the Fury turrets
on the TAC, so it was 2 Furies, and then they went back to the normal stuff.
Small landing bay. Yeah. That's right. Anyway, that was question number 1.
Yeah.
Question number 2 is from Voodoo Child. It's a comment: relax, enjoy, recover, safe journeys. Thank you for doing that.
I'm going to sit back. Okay. I'm going to just get tired if I sit forward.
No, sit back. That's cool.
But I can't hear you properly, so I need you to sit back.
Thinpack. Steve says, do you think the Pioneer is a good choice now? I always thought it was a good choice because of the large ship. We always go by big and down.
I think that was the other thing they said too. They were surprised. Ben Curtis said he talked to one of the orgs, and everyone in the org had one. And I think it's kind of become clear now that you only need one for even the biggest org. They are a kind of a one and done thing. I think the main advantage of that now is actually the extraction stuff.
Yeah, the fact that you can put it on a landing zone, an area where you're building, and extract stuff, and that's something that I think the old one you couldn't do.
Yeah.
Because the old one used to print in ship, and then move the ship to the new building. The new one, you build your item, and then you're moving you're not changing the location. So once you've drained all the resources in that area,
let's just address this. What Monster Avery said. So Monster Avery, manufacturing is base building, and fabrication was the internals. So base building has 2 parts: manufacturing and manufacturing and fabrication. And one is the building, and one is the interior, like the decorations and stuff. And basically, they were going to sell it, and now they've kind of hinted to us that they're not.
They could still be selling it, but the hint was maybe not.
Yeah, I was pretty towards the not.
Look, the other thing was the lead time in terms of ships.
Because he just kind of went, because he heavily hinted it was never sold.
Yeah, if it's not sold in the store, there's no guarantee. But the other thing he also said was,
you're putting too much doubt out there, Algrid. It was clear cut as fuck. They're not going to sell it. I'm just going to say it right now.
Okay, fine. You said it. But the other thing he said was that when they're building ships, they're building them 18 months in advance. So last year, when people asked, "Are we getting a Drake Corvette?" And he gave that smirk, they were actually already building the Ironclad.
Oh yeah, the
So
Ironclad's the Corvette.
The Ironclad is.
And
the
I
Drake
asked him about it.
Corvette.
I said, "That's not technically correct because it should be an S5 and it's an S4. That's
And he
not a
went,
Corvette."
"Yep."
And I went, "That's not a Corvette. That's a large." So yeah, to them, the Ironclad's the Corvette. So here I was expecting
We were
another
expecting a bigger
Drake
ship.
Corvette to bridge the gap again, and that we're good to go now apparently for Kraken.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say I'd never say never. That was said a few times by both of us, wasn't
Yep.
it? But us and them.
In fact, they said that, we said that. It was like,
Yeah.
this guy watched our stream numerous times and caught our catchphrase, but it really was that aspect. Nova 42 has another question. What do you think of a layout of a cargo hold of a Starlancer?
Oh look who's in chat. It's Panadrex.
Hello, Benedict.
That's I don't. Oh, the man starting with M. I don't want to say his real name. I don't want to dox him.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Sorry?
You know who I'm talking about?
No.
You don't?
No.
Was with Kelly Drix.
Oh, okay.
How you doing, bud? I only know it because she sent me his thing on Discord.
Yeah, well, I haven't been sent that yet. So
Oh, sorry, I'll send you in a bit.
So you expect me to know things I haven't been told.
I added you on Discord, mate, and Algrid. Add Algrid. He's just Algrid.
Yeah, I'm just Algrid.
Yep.
I'm always Algrid.
Yep.
But Nova 42's question, what do we think of a layout of a rear cargo hold of a Starlancer? It could be two
We haven't had enough time.
8-3 grids, but there was a dev that said it can fit
We haven't looked at that.
12-8 SCU. We haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I don't feel any comfort. We just haven't had time. But other priorities, unfortunately.
What I did like about the Max's cargo grids were the lifts that come down at the side that make it really easy to offload and unload, and the fact that the rear cargo grid the rear cargo area is perfect for a vehicle. That's all I really got so far. I haven't paid much more attention to it, but I do like it, and I think the fact that you can put a vehicle in there and not necessarily muck up your cargo grid does give it a better standing than a Taurus or a Connie, where you have to make that choice. But that's just my take on that. The downside is you lose maneuverability and size. But
I think we got to remember too the transient jump points and stuff when they all come in too. It's going to really affect stuff. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Algrid. We really will.
Here's a question that came in, which came out of one of the chats, the videos we're watching. It's Nova 42 second question. How do you feel about the double beds on the Starlancer Max? Personally, I think they had a spare space and they needed to fill it up. But that was raised in the video, one of the videos we were watching. We both went, yeah, but when I've got a double bed, I spread out.
I think it's just a party bus. I think they just want people to get busy.
Well, there you go.
I don't know.
People can get busy. People want to be comfortable.
Well, I sleep in a double bed at home on my own, just starfish style.
If I had the room in my little dog box, I would certainly do the same. But
that's where I keep him, by the way, in a dog box. Yeah.
So I just think it's the idea of comfort. The double bed, each room's got an ensuite. That is almost a luxury concession there. That's certainly better than a Connie, where you've got the little shoebox portaloo for the crew. So yeah, I just think it's bigger ship, more space, more comfort.
I think you would agree with this statement though. There is no perfect ship.
Yeah.
It's
you know, taste.
It's not just personal taste, it's situation.
Yeah.
I think that also actually makes a really good balanced game. That's kind of what they mean by there will be no meta.
Yeah.
You know, because it'll be meta for the situation, obviously. It's like, all right, we're doing this, this, and this, so this is the perfect thing. We're doing this, this, and that. Shit, that's no good anymore. We need this over here.
It's what I liked about the way the armor classes were done in the Dress to Kill.
Yep. That was really cool to show the differentiation.
The armors were basically your classes that in normal MMOs, but you can mix and match the sets, and you can almost respec by changing your armor. Whereas if I'm playing a normal MMO, most times once I've chosen to be the cleric, I can't respec into the fighter. I can respec different variations of the cleric, but I'm still.
Well, that's pretty much what I just said about the ships, but for on foot, yeah, and I'd agree with that. Every level you're at, you've got to. It shows well, again, it's a skill-based game. You have to know the gear and shit.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have people that are just insanely good at knowing what gear or what ship or again, like having looked at that Starbase stuff, just how many people are we gonna need? Like you watch that trailer and how much cargo they deliver and watch how much that moves. Dude, that's gonna take so long to build.
How much cargo is going to be needed to build just the thing that builds the Starbase, and then how much you need for the Starbase and the additions.
And then the Bengal or whatever,
and
yeah.
then on
like,
top of that, the ships.
is this a 3-month project? Is this a year project? Is this a like it's like when you set up a Starbase, you're putting your feet down type of thing. It's not going to be, oh, we're going to have one at every jump point and we're going to rule the. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that if you're the biggest org, you might have one at each jump point in one system, and that's it.
Yeah.
If they even let you build close to jump points, that is. So it's going to be a big thing to lose a base. It's going to be a big thing to lose a Bengal. These are things that you're not going to want to, and they're going to be hard to take out.
Hard to take out, and also hard to take out, hard to capture, and certainly painful to lose.
Yeah.
Like I think any military ship is going to be hard to lose because they're just going to take so much resources to build.
Oh yeah, I ran into Timble in the bathroom. He actually remembered me from Star Signal. Nice to see you, Timble.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the first show I did before I did Inforunners with you.
Yep.
So there was some people there that I was like, yeah.
So
I don't know if I said this yesterday, but that was something I realised too, that our audience is that veteran,
the old
or the hardcore, as we've called it too, because there were newer people there, but they were so much more invested, weren't they?
I've just got to do this because I've realised something.
We've both got the same shirt on. Yeah,
we've both got the same shirt on.
Yeah.
So this is the John Crew shirt.
But I'm not feeling well, so I'm just hugging myself.
Yeah, he's a poor puppy today. So, and I'll do mine up again to hide the cord. The other part of
my cordy means gut. Sorry.
The other part of the Squadron Nova 42's question, I almost called you Squadron there.
That's all right, citizen.
Yeah.
Senior.
Yeah, I am a citizen. That's right.
Senior.
Not a civilian. A citizen.
Senior citizen. He's so slow. I can't make this shit up. Like it's like a snail in the back of a turtle going backwards.
He's just a rude cunt.
Down a wind tunnel. Off a cliff.
Okay, so the other part of Nova's question was how does it relate to the...
Tomo's there. We've done a Tomo before.
How does it relate to, or how do we think it fits in with attacks, beds and hangar? Again, I think that where we say we haven't really had a chance to analyse and look at them in detail.
Maybe they just had more space too.
Yeah.
So they wanted more comfort for the crew. Again, it's that bigger size. Like besides the other ship that I'm thinking of, and I know I'm butchering it, the Caterpillar.
Yep.
The Galaxy, the Star Lancer, and the 600i. They're the 4, isn't it, in that class size?
I think so. You could pull the Connie in at the lower end.
No, that's size down. Because the Galaxy's in the same manufacturer.
Yeah. I was thinking just in terms of the cargo, close to a cargo.
I'm just talking
comparison.
size.
But
the Ironclad is in there as well, but they say it's higher, but it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Ironclad's in there as well.
So they're the options you got for those ships, and I think it comes down to player choice in the long run. But yeah, Stimpack Steve, what do you think of the Pioneer? Do you think it'll be limited or only available at IAE?
I'm hoping it's not limited, but I've got a sneaking suspicion with what Ben Curtis kind of said. It's going to stay limited.
They did indicate it will be available at IAE, but they didn't go beyond that.
Yeah, we did ask, but they said they couldn't tell. Well, it's actually there's things that we learned that were not in their purview. So basically now, I don't know. They didn't say designers, but I'm assuming it's some designer has decided this is the gameplay that's coming, and then they make a ship for it.
They get the ships. They get told we need the ship for this gameplay, and that's when they build the ships.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get told the ship is this.
So we've been saying that for the last 2-3 years now. Something like that.
Yeah, but
and we're not the only ones, but I'm just But
So-
that's how it's going now.
Yeah,
Since that the problems with the reclaimer. So yeah.
So they get the stuff and they do that. We do know that the reclaimer will get
Oh, rework.
something.
Yeah, they said that.
It's not. It won't be. It won't be called the cutter.
That's right. And I suggested the gutter. Remember? Because it rhymed with cutter, but you got to pull all the components out of the ship. John Crew had a chuckle.
But it won't be. We don't know really what it is. It's not going to be a drone. That was the only other thing they really said about that.
Yeah. Sorry.
So that was the other thing with the reclaimer. But and again, when they were talking ships, they were saying that, again, just reiterating, they don't want to bring ships out without that gameplay, like they did with reclaimer and other
We
stuff.
probably did meet some org leaders, but they don't come up and go, "I'm an org leader."
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, if I don't know if you've been to Citizencon before, but for me, Agrid, I think everything was like 30-second greetings.
Yeah,
they were all like, "I'm going to the toilet," and you run into someone in the toilet, or you run into someone as you're walking to get a coffee, or whatever. Like,
there were very few that were long. I think the other night when we had dinner at the at Sam's Chop Shop, that was probably one of the longest meetings with people who had recognised us, and we started talking. We said, "Hey, we're going to this place. Come and
same
join
with
us."
John and that. Like, you had to organise to meet people. Like, I ran into Loken. You didn't even run into him. I ran into Loken, and he was at a coffee cart as I was going to get some food.
Yeah.
And we talked for maybe 30 seconds, and that's the only time I saw him the whole time.
I saw one of my org mates. I saw Dynamite, and
I saw him a couple times.
And
he was at the Bar Citizen too, wasn't he?
He was at the Bar Citizen on the Friday night.
It's technically my org mate too, but I don't know him as well as you.
No.
I don't really hang out in the org as much as I should. I
know Dino from when we did a Canberra Bar Citizen, and we did a car trip. We carpooled, and it was a manic trip. But that was awesome. But we only really got to chat for maybe 5-10 minutes, really.
So I want to adjust what Monster Avery just said there. So John was essentially saying for the cutter, he kind of just wanted to remove it from the reclaimer because it's not really required.
Yeah. John would love to remove it.
Yeah. But he said, and then he also kind of said initially they thought they'd just make it a drone.
But it's already got drones.
But if they do add something that they said they'll give it, what did he say? They'll give it something, but he wasn't prepared to say what it would be.
Yeah. But it wasn't a drone because it's already got drones.
And I just said to him, we kind of theorized maybe it was like an exosuit similar to a power loader, but it was designed like, what do you call it? Like an underseat welder to pull the components out, and you put them on your back or whatever, and then take them back to the reclaimer. But that's nothing. That's just us.
But if you were going, if you were going what John Crew wanted, the reclaimer would be.
It's kind of good as is. Yeah,
it'd be done.
It's kind of good as is.
There'd be no little cutter spaceship.
Yeah, and he reminded us of that CR said cutter was too good of a name for it.
Which is why.
But that's why I said gutter, because it's a tip of the hat to the cutter, and it is actually technically gutting the other ship. So I think it's kind of, and it's very Drake.
It is very Drake.
Although, I don't know if they'll make it Drake, but that was just...
the reclaimer's not a Drake ship, so. But it does. I think it does fit with the idea, which I think they had envisaged, because they always used to say you've got to go in and take all the components and all the ammo and all the weapons and all that off before you strip it, because things go boom. So
I don't know. There's just something cool about they make a ship and they call it the gutter, and people go, "Yep, typical Drake, where they belong."
And then it's not Drake.
Yeah, make it like Origin or something. That'd be funny as. Yeah.
So. Winterland says...
oh, wait, I just want to answer this. Agrid is feeling heaps better. I'm the one feeling shit.
Yeah, I'm feeling...
It's swapped. He's taking care of me now.
Yep.
He's pretty much waited on me hand and foot, and I still feel like crap.
Yep. It's a worry when you do that type of stuff. But...
Well, being on holiday and being sick is not fun.
Oh, man, tell me about it.
And I feel like we had wasted days when we got here, and we got more wasted days.
Yeah, we had wasted... Yeah, the days trying to... I got really frustrated by trying to set up our internet and getting frustrated. And I was ropeable at the end just because of the way in which...
Shall we show them sunny Manchester?
Oh, yeah. Sunny Manchester.
I don't know if I can turn it so... I'm just going to try. Here we go. Is this going to work or not? Yeah, can't it?
We'll just turn around to sunny Manchester. So sunny Manchester. This is...
Overcast as shit.
Overcast as crap. it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. 8 o'clock in the morning, it's like dark. The lights are still on. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? And the sky is so low. Like, it feels like
I went too far the wrong way.
it feels like the sky is falling all the time. You know, it makes me
God damn it.
makes me feel like you know, Asterix and Obelix. The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
I feel like
Chicken
Obelix
Little.
at the moment. Not
Anyway,
too good.
Whitland had a question.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the more defined LTI parameters? And fine.
We did find a post on that, didn't we?
Yeah, well, that's what he's talking
And
about.
we didn't get to read through them.
From what I read,
we read a
seem
bit,
fine.
but then we had to go to them. Oh, that's right, when Kelly Drix turned up. Yeah.
It is.
Didn't get a chance. I'm going to be honest. I've been so under the weather, and if I haven't been under the weather, I've been trying to get myself together so we can go to a meeting.
Yeah.
So it's
Or stream, like.
Yeah.
Because
Because again, we want to take the opportunity while we're together.
It's amazing how just doing those little things takes time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what I read of them, it seemed reasonable. Wasn't anything out of the box that was new.
Was
really.
anything different from what we said? Seemed to be everything like I thought it was.
It seemed, yeah, it was basically if you got insurance, you got insurance, and then ships bought in the store have warranty. It just seemed normal. But I'd have to go over it again.
Yeah.
But it seemed clear.
Mm.
But I have to go over and double check. Citizen Ninja has a question. They said thoughts on the dual engine Hornet Mark II F7C.
I think
that's Squadron 42 demo.
I think that's just because it's cows, yeah.
Cal Mason's.
Expat actually brought that up in the thing, and I went, "It's got to be just because it's cows."
It's Cal Mason's unique fighter.
He probably gets special benefits because he's killed so much shit. Well, you saw what he did in the trailer.
Yeah.
If you can fly like that, that'd give you whatever you want.
Yep. He's the poster boy of the UEE, and you know, ask Paul about him. You know, but Cal Mason has stories written about him. He's like White Earp in the 1800s, where writers would write stories about these Western heroes and they'd fantasize and tell stories. Cal Mason's like that. The Adventures of Cal Mason. You know, he is the fictional hero.
Kelly Drix is there as well.
Yep.
Nice to see you, Kelly.
Lovely to see you. Yeah, it's so overwhelmingly sunny, isn't it? Yes.
Yes. Actually, the first there has been some sunny days here, but then there's been days that just rain non-stop. This place is just like home. 4 seasons in 1 week, or sometimes 4 seasons in 1 day.
Come on, we can honestly say the rain in Manchester has destroyed someone's home.
Yes, we can. We can say that. If you're watching SG, is it? Oh, he's gone to Singapore now. I don't know if he can watch us or not.
Well, he might watch us later.
He might. All right, hey SG,
So
hope you're doing well.
SG,
Say hello to your mum for me.
yep.
That's not a sex joke. That's a anyway.
That is actually a real say hello to mum.
Yep.
Um,
We had to convince him to call his mum to get help for him.
I think his mum probably heard us haranguing him and teasing him as well, and making him laugh when he'd been
stressing. So, so have we told that story or not?
I don't think we probably should unless we get his permission.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, we'll leave it.
So, but yeah, it was a long day for all of us, but also a strangely, I thought, a pleasant day because we weren't doing anything. It was just in the end a good day, and so Citizen Ninja has a question for us. It's thoughts on the dual engines. We've answered that. It's just Cal Mason's ship, and that's because I hadn't given it the old tick.
That would be more one for Paul, I'd assume.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen that in any of the lore stuff. But it was
they all had special paint jobs and stuff too, didn't they?
Yep. Well, it's a bit like the old World War II fighters, you know, that they have their nose art, they have their their names on. So, but yeah, Stimpack Steve says they said they were working on the next 12 months, not finished. They're working on
what?
The ships.
Oh.
They're working on, but not necessarily finished.
Okay.
And I think that ties in with when the building core stuff comes in and how soon that comes. And I don't expect to pioneer until we need the bigger stuff. So.
Well, the Guardian is still on the first one, so that implies it has to be up by the end of the year type of thing.
And then
And it's in the second one,
Yep.
so it's got to be. The only thing that makes sense is
And then things
December.
like the sneak peek of the Terrapin
Yep.
Medical, where you could see
Yep.
the IAE, that kind of hints where that's coming. But other than that, you can't really say one way or other.
Yep.
But you do know that 18 months lead time on building ships and working on ships.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting snippet we picked up.
Yeah.
Stimpack Steve had another question. I know it's basically the same thing.
What does it say?
It was
Oh,
basically the one about work.
Yeah, you've only got to put them in once, Steve. They'll come through.
Rue has a question,
Mm-hmm.
or Row Zero has a question. With crafting and even with LTI, you need insurance. The fact that you can hex paint your own ships in the future, what would that do to a funding model for the future? I think they're still going to sell ships.
The thing that you and I talked about a lot was something Disco alluded to. Remember when the Nox came out?
Mm.
And they said you could still make a silver Nox, but you won't be able to make a Nox with those decals and patterns.
Yeah.
So if you buy, for example, the camo pattern that's in there at the moment that looks kind of jank, it's just that snow camo. What if you take that snow camo and you change the color?
Yeah.
Then it's a little bit more interesting. So basically, when you buy a skin, you're essentially buying, it could be like a metallic, it could be, it's essentially a textural pattern that you're buying. And I think that is far more interesting because at a distance, red looks red. But then when you get close, you get all those subtle differences.
Well, yeah, well, I think it's a bit like when you see the Heartseeker.
Yep,
that's from a distance, you can't, it looks like a Hornet.
Can I take the Heartseeker and put that on a Redeemer?
But when you get close to the Heartseeker, you see the nose art. So,
well, that's what I meant. I meant the nose art. Yeah. Can you put the nose? By buying that, do you own the nose art and you can then apply it to other things?
I would love to see that. I don't think that's in the purview of the ship team though. I think that's out of their wheelhouse.
Probably, but I think that's kind of what Disco was alluding to. Because remember he said the decals. It's just whether you can take it from one vehicle and apply it to another.
I'm certain if you were to suggest that to John Crew, he would know exactly what you're talking about.
We didn't ask about that. It wasn't.
No, but he plays War Thunder, where you can do that with decals and swap them on ships. So he would know what you're talking about.
Maybe
but
that has inspired it.
It's not necessarily something that I think is in their wheelhouse. It's probably in the paint team rather than the ship build team. But we didn't actually ask about who is responsible for that, so can't really answer that. So
I think that's the other thing, Monster Avery, is they didn't show variants in that silhouette image. It was just one. So yes, it could be the variant for the Guardian is coming later. I'll totally give you that. So yeah.
Yep. Now, Father and Son Gaming, I do know we met.
We got to answer that one.
I do know
Dafty Digit, they love the shirts, mate. And we even got actual individual people reaching out to Twitter and stuff like that. Thanking
in fact,
us.
I think Ben Curtis said he put his on as soon as he got
off stage
or back to the office. It was like, so they did enjoy them. They did like them. They even liked the toilet humor one.
I have to reach out to the guy that made that and let him know. I didn't get a chance to do that yet.
Which surprised us. That was the one we thought, no, you can't.
A quick look.
But
well, this is British humour compared to ours.
But it was just the British humour, and we once we found that out, we kind of printed one up, had it framed for John, and the second one, and we just gave it to John as well. And Ben got that one, and one of them's got it on his desk, and one's got it on the wall. So, they certainly appreciated it and found the humour in it. Even Ben found the humour in it, and he's under John.
Yeah.
Nope. But Father and Son Gaming has the next question. We did meet him at. Did you? I met him at Citizencon.
No, I didn't see him.
I can't remember where I met you, whether it was out the stunt or near the Hornet or out the back. But I do know I did see you. It was great meeting you. It was great seeing you. And he says,
I missed you.
He says, I'm wondering, because of crafting, if we could really craft everything they talked about during the panel about subscriber items and so on.
Do you really doubt that you can't? I think you'd have to have like. So what it means to me is subscribe items would be you get a blueprint.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to limit you in terms of crafting is blueprints and the things you need to do to earn or
Come
get
on,
the
if you
blueprint.
can build a Bengal, what can't you
That's
build?
right. If you can build a, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you can build a Bengal, anything under it's
Oh,
going to
that
be
was something
available.
else we kind of confirmed too. Because my first thought, because I'm weird like that, because we've seen the Bengal for years. My
Yep.
first thought when I saw it was, what if they make another Bengal? And I asked them that, and they said, yeah, eventually there'll be other Bengal size ships, and you can build other small. So you could technically, I'm not going to. They never said this specifically, but they said you could build ships smaller than a Bengal. So I'm assuming Kraken, Idris, as long as you've got the blueprint.
Yeah.
You need the blueprint, obviously.
And I imagine, like, one of the things that is, you'd have to work up a chain. You'd have to work up, from you start off with your Mustang, and then you've got to work up to your fighters, and then your bigger ships, and so you got to.
That was one thing we learned yesterday too that we just missed on the panels too, and it was a pretty big thing, and we haven't had time to analyze that yet either. Which is you can only craft military ships. So that became like a Polaris, a Perseus, you can't buy them.
Yeah, an Idris, Polaris, Perseus, possibly a Carrack,
which explains the price.
Yeah.
So they're like the alien ships.
And the other thing we picked up was that Drake, regardless of what people say, are not military ships. You can call them what you like, but they're not military ships.
Yeah, what'd they say?
They always go for the contract, and they always get kicked.
Yeah, they try apply
Always
for
get
military
knocked
contacts and always fail, and then spin it off to something else.
So they're just not up to military standard. They don't meet the standard. They try, but they just don't do it. They literally are the joke when it comes to military ships. And so they do what they do. So.
Oh, he was at the studio talk. Nobody introduced themselves, mofo. You just come up to me and said, my name's whatever, but people just come up and assume I know their freaking ugly mug. I have it all the time.
Who was that?
I don't know your face. You know mine because you see it on the camera. I never see your face.
Yeah.
I probably did see it once, actually. I was on his stream once. Yeah, that's why he's assuming I remembered. There was a guy... So this is what freaked me out. There was a guy from... So I live in Launceston in Tasmania, and there was a guy from Hobart, right? And he came up to one of the bar citizens... I think it was the beginning of the year or something like that. And he was sitting across from me. Mind you, I haven't seen him in 8 months. And you think about all the people we talked to. Well, shit that's happened in that time.
Yeah.
And he said, you forgot me. And then I went... And I had to sit there, and after about 15 minutes, I came back to him. And he was talking to you, and he said, I'd forgotten him. And I said, you were sitting opposite me that day, weren't you? And I started to remember things. Because it's been so long ago for me. So you got to, it's really weird when the shoe's on the other foot, because you just assume.
I even now remember, at Father and Son Gaming, we did take the photo, and you said, oh, can I take a photo, and can I post it? I said, yeah, go for it, go for broke.
Everything does freak me out, especially that man there, that guy there. He freaks me right. Oh, he's terrible.
Rolf.
Yeah, we should get him on the phone and show people how he looks like Rolf. Oh, wait, he's shaved,
no,
didn't he?
Shaved. He shaved.
We gave him shit about looking like Rolf Harris, so...
He had the beard like Rolf, the hair like Rolf.
Yeah, all he needed was the board.
All he needed was the wobble board.
Yeah.
And he shaved his beard and then shaved his head.
We're gonna
I do it every 6 months. Yeah.
Well, next time when we get him on, I'm going to make him go on. I bought him a new webcam, by the way. His camera was like from 1984 or something, and it was like he had to get like hold a lamp in his hand like a candle. So you could see him on camera. So I bought him a low light webcam, and hopefully that, just as a
he
thank
needs better
you.
lighting and better.
No, he doesn't need the lighting anymore. It fixed all the problems. And we test streamed it just on Discord to some mutual friends, and it was fine. But now that means John can join us on camera. I don't know if it's going to be good for people's eyeballs, but we can at least
anyone who likes
see him.
Rolf Harris would probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whenever if he's on camera, we'll probably break into Climbing Kangaroo Down support.
We did hook up with Badges. I need to talk to SA too, because Badges is still, he doesn't want to join back up with us anymore. Well, but he said he did have interest in doing the command and controls again, so we might get SA and Badges and I back together for those. Because he's doing a lot of his own stuff. He had a lot of work stuff. Did you hear about all that or not?
No.
So where he works is basically border patrol is probably this way to explain it. And basically they basically gutted the department, so they were like super overworked and shit.
But what he was saying is that he's now got a better kind of contract
New
work
boss and
arrangement
stuff.
with
Yeah.
them and better housing, but he kind of locks him into his department.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was good for him.
Oh, he was not having a fun time.
So he was,
Mm.
yeah. So
So
was
if
good
you're
for
out there,
Badgers.
Badgers, it was good to see you, mate.
Yeah. In other words, we love you, Badgers.
Yep.
So, Rock 1988 says, "Did you see the Spectrum post about AI blades?" No, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
Um,
Sorry, guys. We just
he was crook as a dog today,
yeah.
and I did laundry.
Yeah.
So that was my day today. I was intending to go to the Imperial War Museum.
Yeah, and I
but the
stole
laundry
this
just
whole day.
the laundry just took the day. So
Yeah.
so
And
unfortunately,
you can't do anything quickly,
I can,
as we all know.
but I'd like to take my time. I don't like to be rushed and hassled and yeah. All right, so no, we haven't read that, but we'll try and read that later.
Link it through to me or Aga via Discord, and we'll try and take a gander.
Becky Jones says, now that we know the blueprint, do you think the Endeavour will be a blueprint?
Oh, that's
now that is another
that's a scary one. Yeah.
Because of the number of because of the number of modules in the Endeavour,
it does too much.
Every module basically means you've got a different ship, and that's a nightmare to build.
And where the port system works, so if you think of an easy way we talked about this before with the Caterpillar is you essentially have to load a different version for every combination of the way they can go together, and think of all the different modules and the way you sweep it back and forwards. There's like 100 different versions,
and some of the problems that come with the Endeavour are the similar problems they had with the Retaliator, with the way that they used to talk about the torpedoes being attached to the ship rather than
so they'll essentially have to build a whole new system just for the Caterpillar and the Endeavour.
And they did say that the Caterpillar modules are still on the card.
They did talk about that,
and they didn't steal any, and they didn't take any of the modules.
Like we thought,
for the Galaxy or anything else. They're still all there. They're still planned there.
Yeah.
But
whatever they finalised, I guess, is what they landed on.
But they still need to go back and work out how they're going to do the Caterpillars modules, and what they're going to look like, and how they're going to do them. And there's so many problems that come with that in terms of the port system. Yeah. The same problem they had.
And they basically said when they get back to Drake or when they get back around, the Caterpillar's just in holding.
So when they go back to Drake, that's when they'll eventually do that.
I think one of the biggest things though was the Galaxy. If you got the Galaxy for base building, pick up a BLD CCU. I don't even know. Can someone let us know what's the best CCU? Because we haven't had a chance to look at the store. But what is the CCU to pick up for the BDL? What's the cheapest one that's like from an everyday ready ship or something like that? Yeah. Just a $5, $10 one. What's so we can let everyone know.
And the other thing they said about the ships, and I've talking about was the family of ships. People assume that when they were doing a family ship, that meant they were only doing RSI.
Yeah.
No, it just means that's a focus where we're actually working on building out the design language for the ship. So our building other ships like the Mirai.
Well, you've only got to look at next year, don't you? Well, MISC, RSI, Drake.
Yeah. Well, you look at what came out this year. Working on RSI.
We'd all made that assumption that it was this singular thing, and it's not.
But the ship that came out this year alongside working on the family RSI said it wasn't. Lots of people make that error. Oh, they're only working on RSI. It's just a focus.
See, when I'm in the room and I'm sweating bullets, out here I'm freezing my ass off.
Yeah,
what the hell is wrong with me?
You're sick. Yeah, I'll just rub your belly like.
I'll just crack a few eggs.
Yeah.
You remember that one from back in the day?
Yeah, I used to get that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm moulding an egg.
I could just do the brain sucker waste in its time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Laurel and Hardy, that's what we want to know.
Makes all these references to people I don't know who they are. I think the best one was Bert and Ernie, let's be honest.
Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello.
Dumb and Dumber. I got no idea who you're talking about. Yep.
Becky Jones.
All right, hang on. No BDL. The BDL's not there yet, really?
No, you can't buy the BDL yet.
Oh, well,
I told you
all right.
earlier.
Sorry, I didn't know. Well, that's the one to get.
That's because he's sick.
Yeah, sorry. Again, we haven't looked on the store, and I'm not taking shit in.
No,
I've been.
I looked at the store and I told you when we were looking this morning, but he's sick.
I've just been making mistakes left, right, and center. I went to get the mic. I went all the way back up to get the mic, and it was just sitting over there.
He said, "Oh, I forgot the mic," and he literally went upstairs to get it, and he came back and he went, "It's hooked to the battery."
Yeah.
And was like, so.
So yeah, I'm just making mistakes. And,
I might be giving you sick, but I'm actually, as we say to everyone, if you're not only ribbing each other or bantering with each other.
Yeah, I think that's the only time we're kind of a bit nicer is when someone is sick, to be honest, because you just can't have the mental fortitude. Yeah. And there's a few times I've had to stop him because he'll go into this deep philosophical deep dive into whatever it is, and I'm like, no, brain, no hurt. Void visuals. $2. We will our houses be able to take damage and be destroyed? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We've been theorizing that we're theorizing that misfortune is a salvage tailored at buildings.
Yeah, I'll just go to the point. There was I think it may have been Todd Pappy ages ago talked about if you destroy a doorway of a hab, it'll stay destroyed until you repair it.
Yeah,
that answers your question about habs.
Yeah, and we kind of know from ships if you destroy the core frame, that's when the ship's destroyed. So you can break off a wing with its frame, but if the actual core part's gone, the whole thing's gone. You've got nothing to rebuild off.
Yeah. And
I think houses will be somewhat the same. If you think of houses like we have today, we have frames on the inside and then we have the walls on the outside. I think buildings will be somewhat similar to that. They might even just be foundation and walls. That could be another way they do it.
But having said that, certain buildings or in certain places will be harder to destroy, and that will also be determined on the quality of materials you use to build them,
and you've got that repair factor, but you've also got the maelstrom. So when it's all busted to pieces, how do you get rid of it?
Yeah,
you got to salvage it at some point. There's no other way.
If you've got a cleared area of land and you've got to wipe it out so you can build again, you can salvage everything to clear that rubbish.
And it's bringing everything into the same systems. Like that's why you and I are able to theorize things based around space stations. What was it?
Yeah, well, it was a room system.
7 years ago. Well, we didn't call it a room system though, but that's what it was.
I think you said to me, it's just a room. It's just it's the rooms or the boxes, because they used to talk about even the system being a big room.
I wouldn't be surprised if they end up if they haven't already. Essentially, a ship is a customized room with a customized container.
Well, they called it a container system, because I can remember them talking about the planet being a container system. And then the solar system being a container, and the planet being a container, and ships being a container. And
what was that?
Bases being
That's new.
It is. Did you see the French interview with Benoit at Citizencon 2954? No.
Benoit. Actually, that's the thing about Benoit. Agrid and him are going to be best buds.
Because Benoit wants a Kruger ship. Yes, Benoit, you are.
What else? That's another one as we talk about things. They want a starter for every manufacturer.
Yep. I don't think that. I think they may have said except maybe the smaller one.
Some of the small ones, yeah.
So, but I'm hoping that also means Kruger gets another ship.
They
if
also
Benoit gets his way, it will be true. Yeah.
They also said not every major manufacturer will also get a capital. It's got to fit the gameplay. Yeah. So we might.
Professions will get it, but not necessarily the manufacturers.
Yeah. We also talked about the Argo UFO at one point too, didn't we?
We did.
And I suggested that would be a much better starter than something
and
mammoth.
Ben actually said, I really want to build it.
Yeah. They were really into it.
And the other thing that came out was, if you've flown the Zeus and you feel it's cramped, it is cramped by design. In fact, it was even more cramped. And Ben was gutted that the
no, they actually asked permission, remember?
Yeah,
they kept asking, we've got to remove doors and walls and shit. It's too cramped.
Doors.
So he likes it that way. That's how Ben wanted it.
Proud and
he kind of got that smile on his face because giant tunnel, and then, I'm paraphrasing, and then cramped as shit going out everywhere. And he just had this smile because that's how he wanted it.
He wanted it like a mod, like the space shuttle.
Yeah, so
that's basically what it is.
It'll appeal to different people. And I think that's, like, I don't like it. But that means there's going to be other people that do.
Indeed.
And how many times Space Tomato said is there's got to be things in this game that you hate, so it's for everyone.
Yep, and I think that's 100% right.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that that Ben.
Apparently your mic is cutting out, so put it up close to your mouth. Yeah, these shitty Rode mics. What can I say?
Probably just the angle of that, and you really didn't want to hear it when I talked.
Oh, that does not feel good.
Right, so why do you think...
Apparently you still sound far away. Do you want to move your clip to the inside so it's under your mouth? And if that doesn't work, I'm going to make you put on the other mic. If that doesn't work, I'm going to make you put on the other mic. That one. I brought it down. Yeah, that's what's going to happen though.
Well, I am using a Watson mic. I'm just using a laptop.
I know. But I'm just wondering if that's what it is. Again, process of elimination.
I will tell you that when I was in Jakarta and I was testing road mics,
I think they are too. But in this situation, we are having a problem.
But in this, because and it makes sense because the Osmo 3 active receiver for DPI mics.
What I'm saying, the only difference is between what I'm using and what you're using is that. Anyway.
Anyway, Squadron, I had the question, what do we think? DPI deciding to do the Perseus for the Galaxy, even though last year they said it would be for around.
I think that's got to do with base building.
Yep.
I think they were like, we possibly need one sooner.
Well, they did answer that because they did say Perseus is combat.
Oh yeah, they did, and that was the same reason why they did the Polaris as well.
Yeah, so
they had to pick one because we asked why did you do the Polaris? What are the gameplay benefits? And it was just like we had to pick one, and it gave us a lot of stuff for RSI, and it was kind of like in the middle of the stuff they had. So by doing that, they get other things.
And certainly with the Perseus, Ben said, well, it's a fighter, and that gameplay's in.
It's also why they did the Zeus, so it gave them up and downage, I think.
So things that are cargo hauling, combat, mining, salvage, all of those types of things, those gameplay loops are in.
Yeah, you can just chuck it in.
And you can chuck it in, it doesn't matter. Anything else, you've got to play around and wait.
I'm keen for it. We should talk to Badges at some point too, because he's probably losing his shit. He loves that thing.
What, the Perseus?
Yeah. I got one. You got one.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well,
I
do like
it. We do need to sit down and analyse the whole you can't buy military ships. But let me put it this way. If I can't buy from a store...
A military ship.
Yep. What's to stop me from buying from a player?
Nothing.
See where I'm going from?
Yeah.
How is that bad? It just means the first few days you can't buy fighters until someone builds one.
And then you'll sell off your and that just gives a market for big orgs that have built up that ability.
And do you really think you're going to have that that blueprint pinned down for very long? It might be different in some of the higher end military ships, like a Polaris or something. But like the little light fighters, that'll disappear really quick.
But if I'm able to build a Perseus with 100% iron manufacturing, because we've nailed
that was the other part of it,
all the components, and you can only build it with crap stuff. We're going to buy it from.
But again, the stock standard is going to be not that much harder to get than buying it from a store. Is my point.
No, I would
and that's the other part. Like you look at LTI, everyone's talking about LTI. Well, they've just kind of undermined LTI because basically any that is crafted will always be better. And you know, some of those things, like look at the Vulture one. Now, is that just on the components? But is that the ship itself? So we haven't seen the full details of that yet.
I don't think anything that if you just craft a ship, it's not going to necessarily be better than the craft but anything crafted can potentially be better. If you do crafting 100% items and tier 3, it is going to be significantly better than any person.
I think it's probably more. I think it's more component based. My thing is like. And I'm trying to think, because if you take all the components, right, so you got, and we're getting into real philosophical layers here, right? So I'm trying to simplify it, which is never good with Algrid. You know, you got power, you've got, so power would be out. you take all the components out, what do you have left,
Well, you've
right?
got components.
So where my brain went, and I'm just trying to give one example, is like wear and tear. Maybe my version of the ship that I built doesn't wear as fast as the stock version. I'm just saying there is clearly going to be a benefit to crafting it over the normal.
There's definitely an
Yeah.
advantage to crafting over purchasing, but it's going to depend on the quality of items you use and the
Yes.
gear you build.
And then it will cost more. Yeah,
And it will
absolutely. Absolutely.
But-
But again, if that is worth it, would you even bother with LTI? That's my whole point. How good can they make that to sweeten the pot?
Well, the other thing you've got to ask is how long will it take to make them, and
Exactly.
the expense to make them. So
Yep.
I think the cost of building them in game is going to be significant.
Yep.
I think anything crafted top tier is going to be. I said it the other day. You know, if I've got my javelin and you've built one with top tier stuff, you're going to smash me. Doesn't matter whether our crews are identical.
Yeah.
The fact that you've got better firing rate, better range, better penetration, better hull strength.
Again, we don't know what that is yet, but I'm just saying you've got to make some kind of assumption that it's all the components, and then there's something that could it be more HP on the hull?
Well,
Could it be more armor?
They talked about that type of stuff.
Yeah, they did, but they
talked about
didn't.
it being, no, they did talk about you build it with
Yes,
stronger stuff.
yes,
and increase the hull strength.
but they
and all the rest
didn't
of it.
100% clarify exactly which way. Because I reckon it could be even more complicated. So you could, do you want more hull? Then you use this material. Do you want more armor? Use this material. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, if armor's a component, that'll be one of those other aspects.
That's what I'm saying. It's really hard to tell which one's a component, which one's not.
Lots of things agreeing
Yeah,
at the moment.
and that's why I didn't want to go into it, because it's too nuanced.
But we do know
Yeah.
that they will certainly be better at a certain level,
Yeah.
and it's going to be, you know, how much better will depend on, I think, tier and quality of equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So long story short, I'm not super concerned about not being able to craft military ships, because honestly, I think the big ones, well, the big ones like the Idris is probably going to be one of the other ones we talked about was the Carrack, because it's technically military. So is it worth does that make the Carrack slightly more valuable now than the Odyssey? That's where it's more interesting. Not down at the low end because they're cheap enough already.
Yeah.
It's up at that
But
high
up
end
at
where
the higher end.
Yeah.
I still, well, we were talking this over last night.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, you know, the potential fix my fleet, where I've
yes.
got a Galaxy, I've got a
Carrack and an
Carrack
Odyssey.
and an Odyssey. Which one do
Yeah.
I want? And we said, well, what professions do you want? You know, I want exploring, I want base building, and
Yeah.
Well, what type of exploration do you want?
And he had the entire chain, didn't he? He basically had the Endeavour, then he used a Carrack, then he used an Odyssey, and then you go build a base. Because he had the Pioneer.
But he didn't have a Crucible.
No. But he's got a lot of big ships, so he probably needs one.
But he is a member of the cult of the Endeavour.
But again, he can get the Crucible. Look, Crucible of someone else, but the person with him only had one ship.
Yes.
That was very disappointing.
I was very impressed.
At the self-control, yes.
Yes, it was self-control, but just even that desire, even when she was being worn down.
Yeah, but if people knew, they'd just gift her a couple of ships, I think.
But you know, being worn down to get a ship and get more ships, and she was steadfast. I'm only getting.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too. Look, a purchase ship can be upgraded to higher tier if you have the blueprint. So not only that, you can just get a cheap, shittier one, and then when you get a blueprint yourself, you can upgrade it. So there's that as well.
I haven't heard that. I'd have to go back and have a look.
I'd heard that.
But I do know certainly in the warranty we can certainly upgrade the warranty.
I really didn't hear anything negative or surprising. It was all like, okay, so that's kind of what I've been told before. It's just more official lingo.
More lingo, more.
He even said that if you buy any money, you won't lose your ship.
Yeah.
He said that years ago.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, how good's LTI? What's so good about it, you know?
And CIG used to say, even back in 2014, the LTI is just a minor convenience.
Yep.
But we backers turned it into
a FOMO.
thing. We turned it into FOMO.
Yeah.
Now,
Because again, people didn't understand. And over the years, like if you can get it, get it. But what did they value it at? Like $15, wasn't it?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't that much.
But if like small ships, the only reason you buy a small ship with LTI is so that you can upgrade it to a capital ship or a bigger ship.
Someone's going to have to slap Dafty Digit. What you just said there.
Yeah, I can't read it. It's too small. And it's in dark.
That's the best way to read it.
Well, that's what you think. I prefer it this way.
Yeah, blazing sun.
Try me a Ripper.
Brother.
You know what that is? Well, small smile in playing just for you.
I thought it was you flirting with a cricket. Anyway,
Next question.
he says, doesn't the Ironclad have base building?
It's a garage.
No, it's the Assault, and the Assault has the repair thing at the back
It's got a,
that can do some small manufacturing fabrication.
think of almost the fabrication part in a back of a vulture, or the ability to repair vehicles.
Yeah, Lemming's adding us, but Lemming, I can't actually get onto the Inforunners account on Twitch. Won't let me on, so we're just using mine.
Slap someone. There you go, I did.
No, I think he wants to know if he had to slap someone.
No. But I slapped someone for you, so it's okay. That will probably hit me later.
Oh, no, I won't.
He's too sick and tired. Okay, so Raygun972 says, do you think the Guardian has been reworked? Doesn't exactly look like the silhouette of last year. I think it's a different angle.
Different angle. Like all the ones last year were pretty much side on. You're talking a 45.
45, yeah.
And as we said earlier, it could be one of the variants, because there is a variant which is the Quai or Q or whatever it's called.
Could be last year was one form of a design language, could be a different one. But given the 18-month lead time, I would say no.
I think the only so besides what you and I said about the Bengal, I think the only other one that surprised me was the size of the Starlancer. I thought from everything we'd seen, I thought it was going to be Connie sized, and it was a size up.
Yeah, we thought it was that Connie size from what we heard. Instead of the fit Connie size, but
there wasn't any surprise for us. Like it felt like, and I don't know, I put this out to, if you're an older backer, I mean you've been here longer, right? Did it feel like, give me a 1 in chat? And only if you're older, and I don't know how do you call older? Like 6 years ago, 20, before 2018, right?
Before, if you were in before Pupil to Planet.
Yeah, yeah. Pupil to Planet was really where it's changed.
Because that changed.
We learned that a lot.
That changed the whole way
the whole game has all changed. Yeah, but long story short, for us, it was really an up. You know how we will pull up a document, like we talked about Death of a Spaceman. It's like it's the same. It hasn't changed, and then they brought it out, and it really hadn't changed that much. They added a bit of lore on that, and that's essentially what that 1.0 video was for us. It was just like, here's all the shit we've talked about for 12 plus years or 10 plus years or wherever long it is, and it's just now we don't have to listen to people bitch and go watch the video.
Well, even the line of 5.
Yep.
The line of 5 kind of took away the years of speculation and debate over which the planet was. We always knew Stanton because that's where we were. We always knew Pirate because they told us that was second.
So real quick, give me a 1 if you think it was for the new people, and give me a 2 if you still think it was for everyone, in chat. And again, if you're a new person, you're not going to know what I'm talking about, so I do apologise. Sorry, I've got to go ahead.
But yeah, we always knew Stanton. We always knew Pirate because they told us. We always expected Nix because we'd had Delamar in the planet in Stanton, and Nix was fairly empty. We speculated way back. We speculated Terra, and then we'd always expected Odin because Odin is Squadron 42. They've taken Odin out. Now that says, I think, that either Squadron 42 comes first because we don't need it because it's in, or it comes after.
Interesting. A lot of people saying 2. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. For me and Aga, there wasn't a lot of surprises. It was just really an update, some summary to everything we'd known.
I would say it was for everyone because it was telling
everyone. It confirmed it for everyone.
But for old backers, for new people, it just said this is what we were, this is where we are.
Yeah.
For old backers, it just said vindication. We haven't really changed.
Yeah.
So.
But it's still nice to hear that reconfirmation 10 to 12 years. Well, I'm not saying it's all 10 to 12 years later, but like, if any of you ever try to play catch up, like we talked to Billionaire Ninja, and he's gone back and he watched every single ISC, Wingsman's Hannah, and all that, and I'm just going,
and then
how do you sit there and watch 700 plus episodes?
And then reviewed every single solitary ship that's out in the verse, and basically did a deep dive and a ship scrutiny on them.
I would like when if I sat down to watch that first one and he said, "Oh, by the way, you're going to be watching this for the next 10 years." Do you reckon you would do it? I don't think I could. I'd be like, "Shit, it's way too long.
Yeah.
There's not enough information in every episode." But he did that.
Yeah.
You know, and what is he? You say 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even the other night when we were having dinner at
Yeah.
at Sam's Chop Shop, you know, I was asked Moxie Green Eyes said,
Yeah.
where would I begin? And it's basically, you know, and her son and I were basically saying, well, you'd start. Best place is probably the time capsules.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
still think that's the best place to
going
start
them.
everything.
So, and then you find a topic you're interested in, and then you just follow that rabbit hole, and then until you find
Yep.
something else you're interested in.
Do you know how Star Signal started actually? So I made a post on the Reddit, the Star Citizen Reddit, all those years ago, and said I'm looking for people to do voices, and I'm going to turn those capsules, those 20 capsules, into an audio thing.
Yep.
And by the time I got the people together, it morphed into a podcast, and we never ever did that. So maybe for nostalgia, we go back with Paul, and we do those 20 capsules.
I actually considered doing that as a start for my law stuff.
Well, maybe you can narrate.
One of the things I wanted to do was.
Or maybe you can narrate it, and
we can do it.
Yeah, something like that.
Inforunners law.
Get expat in there. Get a few others in there.
Yeah. Because that was one of the things I want to do. I actually thought I want to do law.
Yeah.
I looked at what follows and I said, no.
I don't know, maybe we can reach out to the community team and make it like an official thing where we just grab content creators and people from left and right and try and get some people really tailored to the characters. They try make me forget Dave Haddock involved.
I have heard from the community team in the past, or certainly the writers, that there are somewhere out there are actually audio versions of things like the stories and the time capsules already.
I'm sure other people have done them.
I don't know where they are. But one of the things I thought of doing, like doing the reading and then doing the
Razum says Promises Con episode 15. Promises Con, like they just keep making promises. I don't know, like I'll put that in chat too as a question. We can do that as a mini poll. Do you think they mostly delivered on what they said they'll do yesterday? Because what's missing now? Server meshing and cruise ships.
Server meshing is like
we haven't had IA yet, and we haven't had the end of the year.
Not the end of the year. And
I think they did pretty damn well.
If I went from what Aaron said, server meshing is like close, and they're basically doing tests in Avocado with what.
And everyone that's been here a long time knows that they best laid plans, and you don't always look at what happened to me in Argod. We had all these plans for 12 months, and they all went to fucking shit.
Yeah, like you make your plans. You say this is what we intend to do. This is what we hope to do, and then something goes wrong. And it throws everything out.
And it just takes one person to stuff up your plans and it all goes to shit.
You know, or one bit of code. So, I still think, from everything I've seen and heard even now, I honestly think that this year the intent was to launch a Squadron 42 at Citizencon.
Yeah, someone asked something about what was the question. And then I missed it because it popped off the top of the screen. No, I have to scroll up here. There's what was the question? Because I just now coming within the last 3 minutes. No, we're just asking chat some basic questions to see what they're thinking because I'm too lazy to type poll.
The actual last question we're looking at is: do you think CIG decided to start production on the first shift before the dark?
No, but he's talking about the questions I asked chat, like with a 1 or 2.
But that was, was Citizencon the road to 1.0 for new backers or for the old backers too?
Yeah.
And I think it was a bit of both.
Darty Digit said his dream job was as a kid to do voiceovers. I'm sure we can find him a voiceover as a peasant or a beggar or a citizen or something like that.
Citizen?
Yeah. Well,
civilian, thank you.
Oh, civilian. My bad.
Yeah, me. Civilian. Anyway, so Ray Gun.
That's his teacher voice. You can imagine with the kids, can't you? To the taser, the whip. What is it? Oh, shit. No, you just shoot them with dart guns. Put them to sleep.
No. I don't get you fired these days. Back in the old days, I was just...
Yeah, they just crack it across the knuckles.
Dusted at you. These days. So.
Yep.
Anyway, Ray Gun had do you think in especially the as Sean was saying yesterday, 18-month lead time.
Yeah.
So when he was asked the question, the Drake, are we getting a Drake Corvette? And he gave a smirk. At that point,
probably the latter waffle.
When he said the Ironclad was already in production.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I said don't tell you, but you don't know what the question was, so you're fucking clueless. That's the whole point. Don't look.
Rude.
No, don't look. No, you're not allowed to look.
Question, it's gonna
No,
come.
because then I'll never shut you up for like a fucking week. No,
Well,
no.
look,
Read
stop,
more
stop,
questions.
stop.
Read more
I will
questions.
questions.
Right, read more
And if
questions.
it's put into the question, it's going to come up anyway.
No, no. He didn't put it as a question.
Put it into the question.
No,
Waffle,
he
and
didn't.
I'll,
No,
try and-
don't do that. Don't do that, Waffle. You're gonna be in trouble with the old man, and then we're gonna fight, and he's gonna look. I'll probably lose because I'm sick. Actually, fuck. All right. Just read the question.
I will when you stop hitting me. And,
I didn't. Oh, I was tapping you. I wasn't hitting you. If I was hitting you, you'd know it. Come on.
and every time you bump me,
Well, you're a softie if that's the case. Come on.
Aiden has a question. What day is AIE or AIE? Just the year.
Just around the 20th, isn't it?
2024.
Yeah. So I get home and it's literally 12. It's almost 12 days after I get home. It's crazy.
Now you're leaving England on the 5th, yeah?
I don't think I get back on the 8th or something, or the 6th or something. Oh, fuck knows.
If you leave
Time
on the
dilation
5th,
is
you're
insane.
home on the 7th, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm also leaving England. I thought that was.
Yeah.
So.
They keep saying, is your mic okay?
My mic is fine. Could be when I'm leaning forward.
Well, it might also be because you're, leaning forward, but you're also talking that way.
Yeah.
So maybe just sit back a bit.
So,
Put the laptop on your lap. And then you can lay back. No one gives a shit.
trying to be more professional.
Well, then try harder.
Oh. He's a hard taskmaster.
You look more professional than me. That's the bar. You've got to be more than me, and you've won.
All right.
You
I
win.
already am.
You win.
Okay, so Aiden's question was when is AIE or IAE? Take your pick which version you want to use. Inforunners version is AIE. When is it? And the
Around the
this
20th.
one, I'm going to walk through the Star-R5 Max and determine if I upgrade my Zeus. Yeah, look.
I think I'd also use the Max to tell you whether you're interested in the BLD or TAC. But as I said earlier, our grid's different to me, and that's totally fine. But for me, the only unique one's the BLD.
I think the others have value, but you've got to weigh them up against the other ships. If you're into building, then
I've seen it before in other variants though, where they clearly build it for one thing, and then went, oh, we can use this same chassis and not waste the time and build a couple more, right? And when I look at it like that, it's clearly them made it for the BLD.
Now, the other thing we did ask about was in terms of the design language and even did the Odyssey or did the Endeavour influence the Odyssey and vice versa? And it was basically, and they love the port window.
Is your mic on? Because what they're suggesting is that your voice is coming through mine, and yours is not even on.
It's turned off again.
That would be why.
Now it's on again. Let's see if that's working. Is that better?
Let us know if it's better now. That's why you shouldn't put it in the pocket. Just clip it onto the side, like I said, because then you can see the light.
Oh, nag.
You never listen to me. But anyway, it's fine. He's like an old what do you call it? Old jog that won't learn new tricks.
Complain.
I'm older and wiser. Do as I say. And I sometimes do. But he never does what I say, so yeah. That's how it goes.
Okay, so Shem Pastor, what British food have you eaten so food? And what's your favourite?
Pub food, but man, their recipes are just slightly off the cuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
So like if you and I went and got chocolate or vanilla ice cream, they'd have hot chip ice cream. It's really weird.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because I was sick, I've only just started eating properly. So
and now I'm not eating.
So
you should just go out and eat.
Yeah. So
and bring me something back or something.
So I haven't had a chance yet, but I am but
fuck, it's cold.
As growing up, we used to eat pork pies. I'm told that England has the best pork pies, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, but apparently they're all down south. I want to try Cornish pasty too, because I've been told about those for years, but they don't, like, how do you not ship them from one side of this tiny island to the other? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I was talking to Willow, who's one of the girls
staff
here.
Yeah.
And saying I said pork pies, she was into it. Luke, another guy, one of the other staff here, he knew about it, but he has not had a burger with beetroot. And I'm horrified. Said a few of them.
Well, see, I did. Well, John's in chat. Yep. Still, probably John Citizen. But be honest, they'll probably say what she does because I know what it's like. But I got John and Diane to try the
beetroot on the
beetroot, and,
burger.
and it was pretty. It wasn't exactly the same as home, but it was pretty damn close.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I was horrified because the Australian here and the
Mm.
Kiwi here, Georgia and Sarah, had not yet
there you
educated.
go. It's just going to a Greg's. There's a Greg's just down there.
Yep.
We should try that then. We'll go into the Greg's and
Um,
get a Cornish pasty.
But you know,
Mm.
Georgia and Sarah had not educated their staff, their fellow
Yeah.
staff on
On
beetroot,
beetroot,
on the
yeah.
beetroot. But his comment was when we were talking about what's on the burger. He said, "What don't you put on it?" We put everything on.
That's a bit true.
Yeah. But I also then took him to task because he hadn't educated them on pork pie.
Well, you told someone to try pineapple, but not everyone
No,
likes
not
pineapple.
yeah.
But I find very few Australians that don't like. There are some, but there are a lot less that don't like beetroot.
Yeah.
Beetroot's like a very Australian staple. It's weird.
The beetroot on a burger is the jam.
Yeah.
Then the fried pineapple, the thin sliced pineapple is kind of an optional extra.
You can get the salty sweet thing going if you do the pineapple right.
I really like the thin pineapple on a burger, but I hate pineapple on a pizza.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can't stand it.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back with Shimpas's question. So I'm hoping to get some more, and I'll probably get some more on the weekend because I'll be hanging out with family and uncles and aunts and cousins and all the rest of it.
We have sausage rolls. Why would I get a sausage roll? The sausage roll and a coffee at Greg's is only $2.85.
That's $5.
Yeah, it's about $5. That's pretty cheap.
So,
But we have sausage rolls at home. I'm gonna try shit that we don't have,
Yeah.
like the peppercorn sauce. Holy fuck!
the peppercorn, the best peppercorn sauce was probably the one at
Was it the
Thomas's.
Mr. Thomas's Chop Shop? Yeah,
That was
that
probably the
was-
best we've had.
and then I had it again at Sam's. Was good, but it was like if Thomas was 10, it was a 9. But man,
Yep.
oh,
Now, the only reason we went to
I
Sam's
gave it to
Chop
that
Shop,
German guy too, and he's like,
Yep.
"Holy shit!"
Yep. The only reason we went to Sam's Chop Shop
Mm.
was because that was where we saw Erin and Brian.
Yeah.
Um,
what was his name? Jonah.
Yeah, Jonah.
Yeah, the German guy. Yeah.
Jonah and Moxie.
Yep.
Moxie, Green Eyes and Blue Eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, we have
Um,
sausage rolls like that. I think sausage rolls are like a staple now.
Yeah, well,
But like some of their pies are just a little weird. Like they love mushrooms here,
yeah.
and I don't like them. I'm not a fun
Yeah,
guy.
well, yeah, you're not a fun guy. I, on the other hand, do like mushroom. Steak and kidney, steak and mushroom,
Mm.
all of them. So,
Well, then there was that. We won't go into that. The 3 order stuff up at the.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that
Ordered
was the
something, it got
downside- that was
stuffed
the
up. It got
downside at
stuffed up
Thomas's.
again.
So,
There was
pepper
a.
steak.
What about the drink? I ordered it at the bar system. It took 4 times to get it right, and it's like 2 shots of whiskey and fill it with lemonade, no ice.
Yeah, I
And
call
4 times they stuffed it up.
yeah, I just call it an
Yeah.
execute cocktail.
There is a don't give a fuck culture here as well. Like they don't like to serve people. They just stand there like glazed robots. They just don't give 2 shits. Like where Australians are carefree, they don't give a shit. Like it's one step further.
I would have to say that's
Yeah.
not necessarily been my experience. As you saw
Mm.
when we were given our water, I was just, hey,
Oh yeah, me and John had a good pie actually at the what was it, Stagecoach Inn down in
Yep.
Kidderminster. We had a steak and ale. That was pretty good, but that was the flavour was good, but it was I can't explain how plain the pies. Like they're really good, but they're just so plain compared to back home. So
Well-
back home they have like a curried chicken and it's got all these veggies in it and it's spicy and tangy, and
Look,
then they'll have like a.
I will say that Thomas's Chop Shop, even though they stuffed up the order, in terms of
It was very good.
it was pepper steak,
Yeah.
steak and mushroom.
Yeah.
Yep, have that. And when it came, it was chicken
Yeah.
and chickpea,
Well, I
and
went.
that was really, really good. But it wasn't what I was expecting. But it was really good.
Well, I couldn't find something I liked that was decently priced because the other one that I liked would have been $60, which is insane.
Yeah,
So I just went potato 3 ways. So I had chips, mash,
and roast.
and roasted, and I just had it with that black peppercorn sauce, and I licked that container
Yeah,
dry. It was insane.
He did. It was
So good.
like a baby.
Yeah. And even
Um,
the gravy that came, you got a gravy and I got a gravy, and it's not like
Yeah.
gravy back home where it's this. It was see-through clear,
Yeah.
like a brown clear gravy. It was different to home.
I do have to say that peppercorn sauce in that Thomas's it was to die for.
Yep.
I did steal some, and then after that, X would not let me have any. But no.
Yeah, you wanted more chips. I gave him more chips, but no more gravy.
But no more gravy.
Yeah.
But but yeah. John from accounting has a question. Did you get the impression that the Kraken is going to be the next big Drake ship after the Ironclad? Based on what they said, I would say yeah.
They were very excited for it. Ben was especially. He did the al dente thing, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, his two favourite ships were companies were Drake and I can't remember the other one. Drake and Nisk, I think.
I think he said something like Nisk was one of his favourite.
So the two favourite companies were.
Those things we've already forgotten. That's why I wrote them all down. Right?
Yeah. So we were looking for that. Benoit, on the other hand, Benoit's my hero now. Keep fighting for Kruger.
You should reach out and tell him you're a Kruger fan.
So keep fighting for Kruger. So yeah.
I need a blankie.
You need the blankie.
Yeah.
I'll call you Linus from now on.
Linus?
You know, Snoopy.
Oh, okay.
Linus with Linus always with a blanket.
Right. Okay.
Never gets the popular culture references.
Norris Picard. Yeah, there's a reference for you.
Yeah, you make me face palm all the time.
Okay. I should just call you Locutus. That's actually a bit more on point with you than Old Man Hurston. Yeah. Resistance is futile.
All right. So John Chase says, "Do you think they have a plan for Jack to bring the galaxy he saw last year? Do you think they have a plan to have Jack bring the galaxy he saw last year as his new ride to this year's IAE?"
There could be a surprise when we get the galaxy. Let's not rule. What's that thing? Never say never.
Yep.
But
if that was said once yesterday, it was said a dozen times.
Yeah, by both of us.
Ben, John, me, and X.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd keep your fingers crossed, but I wouldn't live my life by it, type of thing. I'd be like happy if it turned up, but I wouldn't be disappointed if it didn't. That's why I've told people that were buying the Galaxy for the manufacturing to buy. So there's an old guy here that doesn't realize what live streaming is. He's looked at us a few times like we're a weirdo.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Manufacturing module. I'm pretty sure it's gone. And even if it isn't, pick up the BDL as a CCU just to be safe. Then you got both.
Yeah, because even though they're the same class, even if it does have manufacturing, I don't expect that it will be as good as the build because the Galaxy is modular.
Again, why would they bring out a ship called the BDL in the same size class when they've said they literally don't want to double up?
Yep.
So again, doesn't mean 10 years from now they don't bring out a module for the manufacturing for the Galaxy.
And then you chuck on what John said about it hasn't been sold in a store.
Yep.
It's subject to change.
Yeah, it's and that they talked about another module. So they do have other modules to sell for it.
Yeah.
Which will probably come when it comes.
Yep.
And again, if you think about base building, probably means the can's been kicked down the road.
Yep. Now a new question is, have they clarified 100% that we can build a Bengal carrier from scratch? And I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Because John because we can build the Bengal, will there be other size ships that's Bengal size that we build?
Like
and he said, yep.
Eventually.
So I think that 100% clarified that question. So, John Peake. Oh, that was his question. Sorry, that was John Peake's question.
Yep.
Spacey Jones had a question. Spacey Jones says, when they showed the last part of base building, I was like, okay, third year's official cooked. What do you think? The big orgs even be able to have all members be in one space station, especially with the another org attacking?
I'd also point it back to the starting prologue trailer. I was looking at that. My fault, or we haven't actually really talked about this at all. But I just went straight back to episode 3, the intro to Revenge of the Sith. And I went, this is like that turned up to 11. I said, they had 2 or 3 ships in at once. This has got like 50 at once.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you think about most games, they can't put that many things on screen to render at once. And I was like, you carry that over from that to Star Citizen, they are going for that Battlefield-esque thing across the board. Dial it up to 11. If you get server meshing the way you want it to go, why the hell wouldn't you go there?
Even if you look back at, I can remember when they were talking container system, which is the room system, right? And I can remember talking about the container system would mean you could have 80 people on a javelin.
Yep.
And that's a separate container.
Yep.
And then you could have 2 javelins. And that's
they
two
even talked
separate
about
containers
separate
in the same
rooms
area.
within the javelin.
Yeah.
So again, you could have 2 servers to 1 javelin, or I remember them saying you'd have 100 people in one room and 100 people in the next, and walk around and go between the servers.
And that would just be in the ship itself. So
yep.
the container,
It's
the old container
contextual
system,
contextual the number of people basically. They scale the containers scale to the number of people.
Yep. And so what they used to call, the container system is really what they refer to as the room system now.
Yep.
As my understanding.
Yep. And you add it all together, why wouldn't you dial it up to 11?
Yeah.
If you got that tech work, it tells me how confident they are in server meshing.
Yeah.
Where the tests are going, they've said things like, oh, this is working better than we first expected and stuff like that. That they must be supremely confident they can pull this off now. To come out and say, yeah, we're going to do player space stations. And we were doing the math, how many ships was there? 4, I think, in that hangar that was below the thing. So that's equivalent to a Kraken, right? As a flight deck below, at least a Kraken, right? So let's just say it's a Kraken at least, right? Yep. So maybe 10 people down there, plus the pilots and stuff. So let's be generous and overdo it and say 20. And then you go back through every room. Not every room's going to need people all the time, but you go, like I said to Albert, I said, what if it's 200 people? And I thought I was underestimating that when I said 200. I can see that.
I'm going to cut you off, but I'm going to be horrible. But Kelly, if you are still watching, and you're finishing off what you were doing, feel free to drop by the wild.
See what Mum just said? She used my real name. She's doxing me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mum. I'm saying I'll be home on the 6th, and I said Algren's mic is not clear. So you meant and told that's another teacher telling off another teacher. That's got to be a first. And then mic is better. Apparently the mic is better now. You fixed the mic.
Yep, because it was off.
Yeah, Sally's my mum, by the way. My mum. I'm shithouse mum. I'm sick as a dog.
He is sick.
Algren's been taking care of me.
He stayed in bed all day and only got up because I basically made him change his scenery to get a bit of fresh air.
Much. I've been all congested, like my eyeballs falling out and stuff. So yeah.
So yes,
and I'm freezing.
So yeah, so Spacey Jones has a question. When they showed up the last part of base building, strategies cook. Yeah, look, that's that same question. I think they're going for that kind of Eve type end game play.
Why would you not build an engine, see what Eve's done, and gone? Yeah, I can go one step better.
We can go one step further than that.
Yeah. And they having that 1,000 players or some shit, and they had to slow down time dilation or some shit to pull it off.
The IG, if they pull this off, it's not going to be time delayed.
If they can do that, why the hell wouldn't they try and do that in real time and in first person? It would be groundbreaking and change everything.
And how many Eve players came across? Now,
how long have we been saying this engine, if they pull it off, will be groundbreaking?
I personally don't want Eve 2, but I also know that I want to be in big fleet battles like. Sorry?
What's her name?
That's Sarah.
Oh, Sarah. I was about to go New Zealand lady.
Yeah, Sarah's the Kiwi.
Give me a blanket. I'm gonna go ask. I'll be right back. You'll still hear me though.
And George is the Australian. So, but yeah, I think that I don't think that is officially cooked. I think it actually gives them
Sarah, do you have any blankets around here?
That ability to go as far as they want. And we're talking like end game. This is the top tier guild end game stuff.
No problem.
It's the guild building their base.
I've been really ill and I'm really hot in the rooms.
Defending their production center and resources and all that stuff.
Apologies for all the chat.
I don't think it means direct at all. I think it's a positive thing. And I'm not necessarily someone who wants Eve. So, but yeah.
I think, again, Tyra kind of hinted it's going to take all types.
Will it be hard for a large org to get everyone there? An org like...
Hang on, why is my mum up at like 2 a.m.?
3:56. My clock's still on Australian time.
Mum's up at like 4 a.m. Damn. Get some sleep, Mum.
She got the notification you were on stream, and she wanted to see a little boy.
Probably, yeah, knowing her. She's like that.
Because parents are like that.
Well, she's like that.
parents are like that. Doesn't matter how old you are, you're still their little boy.
Yep. Agreed.
So yeah, I think some orgs may struggle to get their members on, but mega orgs, if they're doing that, I don't think I have a problem.
There's a lot of people saying hi, Mum, on Twitch. Mum.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, sorry.
So I think it's a question how many of those org members would actually stay at the same base and work at the base, or how many would rely on agents.
It's going to ebb and flow, isn't it? And we haven't even got any NPCs.
Yeah. And so that's going to be the ebb and flow, and we're just going to have to wait and see. It's going to be how people.
They kind of reconfirmed gas collection too, because the space stations can do that. So it's not just the staff area now. We had land drilling,
and they reconfirmed they are going to at some point redo the staff area.
Yep.
And they also confirmed the reason why we've got crouch space instead of crawl spaces, which is exactly what we've
something we'd theorized for ages.
It's just and Ben even said when you've got a crawl space, it's literally. He was literally using his hand and saying, you've got the long thing. I think it was
John actually that said that, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
I thought it was Ben, but nah.
Yeah.
But when it's a crouch, it's literally...
Because when you're prone, essentially, you've got to pivot on that spot, but as soon as you go to kneeling, it's the same as standing.
Yeah.
So that's why crawl paces have gone. And I said to them, well, you got rid of all the crawl spaces on the Vanguard. Why don't you do a kneeling ship? And I don't know, the look I kind of had on the head was almost like cogs were rotating.
Well...
Like they're like... Why didn't we think of that? I don't know if that's true, but that's the look I saw on their face.
Well, I think they did think about that because they did the MSR. That was really the first
true.
they did that.
Yeah, true. Okay, I didn't even think of that.
But it still made the MSR on stilts.
Maybe they were thinking this guy's an idiot. Why didn't he think of the MSR? Maybe that was the look I got. I don't know.
But what I'd like to see...
it was just a weird look on their faces, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. You're sick, I'll give you that, But I would still like to see the MSR with its components spread throughout that crawl space area to make it... To make it so all your components are in one space, so you can't blow them out in one hit. To make it so that your engineer actually has somewhere to do and run around rather than just stay in one area. But that's me, and I don't know whether they will do that or if it's on the cards, whatever. But
they didn't say anything about reworking the RSI, but MSR, sorry. But they're going to work everything up to gold standard.
Well, as we we were talking about that, and I even said just like the Zeus is the new, the gold standard.
Look at this asshole. He's eating chocolate chip cookies that Diane made. They had to die for. Like what my grandmother used to make.
I want some of those, John. Just let me
know.
No,
you have to fight me for them.
Diane will make me a little bag. A little cookie bag.
Yeah, it'll be little. It'll be crumbs.
A little cookie
After
bag.
me and John have eaten them.
No, Diane won't let you.
Oh, I don't know. You don't know Diane like I do.
Yeah, but she'll look after me because...
No, she's a sweet old lady. She loves me.
That's right. So she'll look after
John
me. Loves
John more, though.
See how mean they are to me? I look after him and he still gives me crap.
Yeah, you've got to harden you the fuck up. Anyway.
All right, so Spacey Jones. That's the one we just answered. Okay, so the next question is Zazeth. What the heck is wrapped around the picture frame in the background?
See that? He said
it's spiderweb.
Yeah,
they're decorating for...
They've got Halloween. So there's a ghost on a hanger hanging from a lamp or something.
And the spiderweb over the picture frame, a little...
I think John could probably speak that more than us, but he was saying that Halloween started to kind of creep in here as well. They're trying, because the same thing's happened in Australia, they're trying to make it a thing, and it's just not going to really take off the way they think it is. It's the kids that lead the charge, but it might take a generation or two to get in. But
well, believe it or not,
yeah,
Halloween actually starts with the Reformation.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, you're a heathen.
Right,
so the Reformation was when Protestantism basically starts. Reformation is the attempt to reform the church from the way that...
Well, can I tell you what it is from a real life perspective? People that don't have kids don't want to buy candy for other people's kids. That's basically the long and the short of it.
But Halloween was All Saints Eve, so the celebration of that.
But if it was just a dress up thing and everyone dressed up, I think it'd be fine. It's the having to decorate your whole house for other people's kids, I think, is a bit much.
Martin Luther, the German theologian, actually nailed his 95 thesis to the Wittenberg Cathedral on All Hallows Eve way back when.
I think there's also a little bit about, I don't know, the way the culture is in some places. It's just people that want other people's kids around their house is a bit of a taboo.
Well,
if
I
you know
think
what I'm
some
saying.
people with kids also get their kids to dress up and get them out of the house so they get a bit of peace and quiet.
Oh, that's true.
Turn off your light. Apparently, if you turn your lights on, that's saying you got chocolates and stuff. Turn the lights
I
off.
thought it was
don't.
if you decorated your house, it meant you had chocolates or
No,
something.
but if you turn your lights on, that also says it.
Well,
That's how you know.
that means I've got to turn my lights off. What if I always turn my lights on?
Well, if your lights are on, you're saying you got them. If your lights are off, you're saying you
Oh,
don't.
it's trick or treat. We'll just make it tricks, and I'll just put spikes everywhere. That's a good trick. That's a good trick, isn't it? You're dead. Not going to be triggered and treated at my place ever again, are you? Little shit. Right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
X is evil. We now know that for certain.
Yeah.
Spacey Jones, do you think the Carrack drones would be able to base build?
We argued about this.
We did argue about this a little.
Or can we just say automatic and manual and leave it at that?
Yep.
Because we're not sure.
I would say yes, they can, but there's no way to reload them unless you do it manually.
And that's where we think
and that's where we argue and debate over.
Yeah, and I was like,
the level at which they can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you reload them? And there was things like, do you have to bring it inside to reload it? Do you have to take it down to the cargo hold? Like, there's questions there.
Yeah, and then how do you make the specialist ship better than the jury rig ship? And
that's it.
And that whole question of stuff.
Is that? And I look at it as, well, that's why the build's better, because it's got the automatic part to it.
Whereas the others, and I'd agree with that. Yeah. You'd have to take it into the hangar and then
so you can sit there and build an outpost if you want, but it'll take you a bloody week.
And I think the reference you've got for that they've talked about in the past was when the
any ship can do it, but should they be able to do it as well? Yeah, exactly.
But when the Nautilus came out, people said, "Oh, can I use the Carrack drones to take the mines into a hangar?" And they said you could, but there's no special safe storage area for it.
I just remembered one about the Nautilus that I haven't written down, and I don't have the pen here, but so I'll put it on video. When I asked him about eventually, do you think we'll see bigger mining deployers?
And they said, and we talked about bigger mines as well, and they said,
because he kind of implied they were big, and I said, yeah, but they also say they're comparable to a size 5 torpedo, and size 5 torpedoes are for fighters, and that's when he said, well, and then he said, yeah, well, then eventually there'll be bigger ones.
And we also talked about and this is another one we forgot, was the for Gladiator. Yeah. And the modules for Gladiator, and they talked about the modules and do you make it a module or do you make it a variant?
Yeah, so a modular a variant of the Gladiator, because it would be too difficult to switch between the two on the fly.
Because if you put bombs in the kind of torpedo bay you've got with massive torpedo bay with these 4 little bombs.
But you can, that was the other thing they said too. Like, modular versions are never good as a niche one. So where you've got, say, something like one you can swap. So you've got like a Redeemer that can swap the pod around. Though that wouldn't be as good as, say, a dedicated bounty hunter or a dedicated cargo. And what I mean by that, so you now got the freelancer variants. They would be better than a variant that can switch between the variants.
So a freelancer, versus
variant's better than module, basically.
A freelancer variant versus the Galaxy modules.
So if we take the Starlancer and made the Starlancer so it was 3 modules, it would not be good as the 3 independent variants we have now.
So I think that answered that question for Stacey Jones in terms of the Carrack. Always does that. I hate that.
That screen's handy.
No, the touch screen.
Yeah, it's great. It's handy as fuck.
Especially when my mouse pad bit doesn't work as well as it should.
If you careful to go to sleep and it's not there when you wake up.
Sorry? No, I've got it without not. The screen doesn't turn off at the moment.
See, he doesn't listen to me. Doesn't listen to me at all, does he? Everyone on stream heard me what I said. You didn't hear what I said.
Nope. Wasn't paying attention.
All right, good.
I was paying attention to the next question.
No, when it disappears, don't blame me.
So the next question: it has been reported that AI blades will be available in 1.0. What are views on this? And is it a possible implementation?
Wouldn't it be tier 0?
Well,
just
1.0,
turrets.
Yeah.
We already have turret AI, so it's just, instead of a guy sitting in the chair, it's a
blade. I can remember once upon a time them saying you couldn't AI blade a man turret, you could AI blade remote turrets.
Yeah.
And I expect that will probably be the case, but that was back then. I don't know how that translates across to the now. But 1.0, I heard expecting 1.0 not only to be a blade, but we've also got NPCs.
At least tier 0. Well, again,
we're talking 1.0.
Again, look at the code that we've seen, the E1 and the ST.
Yeah.
There's something AI happening. The document from the jump
Yeah, I
point,
was going to say,
you
look at
will see stuff soon. There was nothing at
Yeah.
Citizencon. And so if it's soon, that's got to be, what would you
and-
say, before the end of the year?
I would hope so. And the thing they said in that jump point article again was server meshing was the hold up. And what did Elliot say about server meshing?
Yep,
Silver bullet.
yep.
So
But they're breaking the dam,
yeah.
as lots of us have been saying,
So-
and then other people have been doubting. What was the other part? The all those ships that were in the files, some of them didn't come out, so they're clearly for AIE or as 4.0 roughly drops. If the E1's in there and the Zeus ST is in there, that's somehow tied to AI before the end. Well, whenever 4.0 drops, that's where it's tied to.
Okay, so just curious, was there anything special at Citizencon for concierge? Was there any merch?
Oh fuck! I never asked that. God damn!
No,
I brought that card all the way with me and didn't do anything with it.
no, didn't have the black card.
Maybe we can.
I forgot my black card. You at least got, hopefully,
If
or
we
maybe,
have that meeting tomorrow, maybe we can ask.
if we manage to run into Chris, we might be able to get him to sign it. But
Actually, maybe we can ask Kelly Drex or, I don't know. Let me get it. I've got it here.
but
Yeah.
Kelly Drex, if you're still around and you want to join us, come down to the Wild Apartment Hotels and
What the
and
fuck?
join
No,
us.
they're turning the lights off.
They're
on us.
getting the mood lighting.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting late, so
I forgot to bring his, but I remembered to bring mine, and that's this. I can't hold it close enough. I could.
yeah. And they were concierge cards way back in the day. A black card that lets you into special events. I think they did one,
Yeah, I think they only ever did the one, and they've
and
never
that was
used
in
it
LA,
again.
and then they
Yeah.
never did them again.
And these sell for like $180 now.
Yep.
They're just a rare collector's
They're a
item.
rare
now.
collector's item.
Yeah.
A bit like
And they're really good at NFC blocking in your wallet. If you want to,
Yeah, well,
just get
I
your
think I've
cards,
got-
put one in. That's about it.
I
That's all
think
they
I've
do now.
got First Fleet dog tags for Cotton,
Yeah.
and I've got Second Fleet dog tags for me.
Okay.
So, and I've got the black card.
Mm.
Pardon me. And I think there's another card I've got, but I can't remember. So the cause says, just curious. Oh, that's the one we just answered. Was there any merch? The answer was, didn't see any. There was specific Citizencon merch. That was I think the keychain was probably the big one. And we did.
Yeah, you got me one of those, didn't you? Thank you. But I think that was the key thing I took away from the merch story is just get all the limited stuff. We even talked to Sandy about that too. Like, just have the limited stuff at the con. Everything else you order online.
Well, what was the thing? You know, the thing that blew me away. We were talking about. I was saying the thing that frustrated me was the 2.5 hours in the line.
Yep.
And then we were talking about ways to fix it. And X said,
I just saw the line and went, I can't be fucked.
yeah, well, that's why I went during.
Got too much to do.
Well, I figured.
I thought you were crazy, but I was like, yeah,
Well, I wanted to make sure I got the mouse pad because last year, I thought I'll get it in the store afterwards, and I couldn't get it.
In his house, there's just this like area, and it's just all these mouse pad boxes. He is like, and it's just a mirror. It's a physicalized version of his ships. He's just got collect them all.
No, I don't have them all because I haven't been able to get them.
Algorithm, it was at least 5 or 6 boxes high.
Yeah,
and it was like at least 4 or 5 wide. Like, that's a lot of mouse pads.
And some of those are double because I used to take them to Bar Citizens as giveaways and
I
other stuff.
will give you though, the Bengal one was very nice.
The Bengal one.
I wish I'd got one, and I don't know if there's any left. Maybe I should buy one.
But yeah, they were very good, and you know. But
We
last
got to
year,
take this to John Crew as well, didn't we? We were going to get because I hadn't put mine on yet, and we were going to get it signed, but then we couldn't find a pen. You just because I'm unwell, I keep forgetting shit. And
I did think afterwards that we could have used the black pen and got him to sign across the
But
jumper.
you've been picking up my slack, and I've just been dropping the ball because I'm not well. So
yeah. But yeah, there were things we intended to do, thought we'd do, either time or sickness or anything else has just prevented us. And I've got to admit that the first week of trying
what's
to
that
get
down here and not up there?
I don't know.
You should click that and drag it up the top.
Yeah, but I want it at the moment.
Well, that's where Inforunners should be, up the top, not down the bottom.
I find me, I'm okay. That's not down the bottom. It's only a little from the top. Right, see? Watch. See? Okay, it's a bit further down than it used to be. but that's okay. I've even got messages there from people I don't recognize at the moment.
Yeah, but that's what happens all the
Oh, that's
time, man.
jail.
I've got 5 people a day that add friends to me and
well,
stuff.
No, I just ignore most people because I'm a rude bugger.
Well, the problem on Discord for me now, and I don't know for normal people again, this is always people trying to look for work, like arty creators and stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I've used Photoshop for 28 years, no thanks.
Yeah,
And they just leave me be.
We don't need an editor until we're over 20k. So
okay.
Until we got 20k.
So what you're saying is you want everyone to sub so we can start. You want to hire an editor.
Yeah. Well, if we get, we've
do you have anyone in mind?
No.
Yeah.
But then we look for people to submit their portfolios.
Yeah.
Maybe Billionaire Ninja. He's done a bit of work.
We'll see.
But yeah, once we get 20,000 or 25,000 subs on YouTube, then I think that's the point we look at.
We might do some more shirts with Dafty Digit too, because I talked to Elliot and the level design team were jealous as fuck of the ones John got.
They were. They wanted.
I don't know. Maybe we might make it a quarterly thing. Do you think that's too frequent? And we just go around CIG and we don't have to keep doing them. We just do everyone.
No, every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
CIG, the Citizencon,
and then Invictus.
And Invictus, or AIE and Invictus.
Yeah, I don't know.
But IAE, not.
Give me a one in chat if you think that's. Would you guys like to help make, as a thank you to CIG people, we just go around the different teams and we stylize a shirt to them? Is that something you guys would be interested in? I really enjoyed the cleverness of they really liked to play on words.
They did.
It's not always easy to make a good play on words. Like
I'm certain that Kelly Drix would love one for the QA team.
The QA people. Definitely.
I'm sure Magnus would love one for the level team.
Yep. I can't believe how much they played that game, though. That was the other thing I was surprised by. Some people, when we were talking to them, some people had overtime, some people did not. And I thought as in they could just go home and take a break because of what they were working on.
Yeah. I thought that was that flew in the face of people who complain.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a big thing.
Do you get do you guys do overtime, or do you get time in lieu? Oh, we get to choose.
Yeah, that came out from every employee we talked to, was just how good CIG was as a company, and all the people that you've heard over the years that complain or got fired or something like that, they were really inexperienced or new, and they'd never worked anywhere else, and so they were just like, this, I can't take this crunch, and they'd never. And if you've never experienced crunch, it is draining.
Yeah.
It is full. It's like homework, but non-stop.
Well, Kelly said yesterday, I haven't had it, Magnus was saying, he hasn't done it bad, and she hadn't had a day off. She hadn't had a weekend off for weeks while she'd been doing the QA testing for the level. But she's taken time in lieu, so she's got Thursdays off for the rest of the year. Yeah. And she said others took the pay.
And hopefully the teams that we do aren't. Oh, I know QA might be a bit big, but maybe we can break QA up. I don't think we can do 50 again, because 50 was pretty insane. And also, we're probably, no offense, John, we're going to have to talk to you about it, because John's going to have to get them printed and drag them up here.
And she did say,
John's going to be coming up to Manchester a lot. He'll become the Inforunners assistant in Manchester.
Yeah.
But he's really in Birmingham, down that way, so he's going to have to drive 2 hours every time. So we're going to have to thank John. We're going to have to sweeten the pot for John as well. We'll have to get him a gift every time.
Yeah. Well, Uppy's...
We'll just buy Diana a taser. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
She can motivate him.
Yeah, well, she'll enjoy that.
Well, she'll probably go with him. Yeah, she can go to Manchester. He said until he brought us up here, he said he hadn't been up here in 20 years. How do you be 2 hours away and not go somewhere?
Oh, well. When was the last time you went to Canberra?
That's more than 2 hours.
True.
That's like 3 hours by plane.
Well,
And I was in Canberra in...
Okay. Look, even Victoria
around 2010,
more than 2 hours away from you. So, you're, to quote
but it's a plane. That's different. It's like me going to Hobart, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't been to Hobart in 6 years. So, yes.
To quote one of our prime ministers, that's the arse end of the world.
And then Tasmania is the shit that fell out of it. Yep.
Although when he was talking about that, he was talking about Australia as a whole. So, but yeah. All right. Fox Creative Gaming says, when do you think we will see the Miss Starlancer build? And what do you think the price will be?
I think it's going to be related to when base building comes.
I think when they've got building.
That's clearly to say that. But here's the other cool thing that I don't know if anyone's put together. It requires drones.
Yeah.
So we're getting drones.
Yep.
when
They are-
building comes.
Initially, they're going to be automated because
Yep.
it said that every time
Yep.
we've seen the building drones, you basically start them and they just automate the
Yep.
process.
But then eventually, the
But-
next step is to
But you'll remember also, and with the repair drones on the Vulcan, there was one seat, and you'd swap between the number of drones going, and you basically set them, and it'd be automated, and then you could set
Yep.
them and do the task, and
Yep,
go to
that's
another
it.
one. So automated drones is kind of
Can you eventually build or you got 4 large drones, you can build 4 things at once, or 4 things together that's faster.
I think they hinted at that, but I'd have to go back and watch the video.
Yeah, or can you split 2 each, or
Yep. And
So
again,
I think it's going to be all of it, personally.
yep. And I think it's just a matter. I think it'd depend on how many
Initially, it could just
stations
be.
you've got.
Yep, it could all. Well, not really, because you can, again, as you said, you can have one person switch between.
But when they were doing certainly on the Vulcan, from memory, it was 2 drone stations, 4 drones,
Yep.
and you'd set one up.
But as soon as I saw that Starlancer video and all the drone stuff you and I had talked about, it broke that, and I was like, "Well, this has got more than any other." So yeah, again, we can only go by what they've told us until they break their own rules,
Indeed.
can't we?
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
And at the moment, we don't know.
Yep.
So the next question is from Cos, and he said, if Cal Mason is the moustache pilot, actually, the Cal Mason had moustache and beard, from Squadron 42, what about Henry Cavill character? He was Doc. He seemed to be the only one flying the customized F8A.
Correct.
And seemed to be like a leader. He was, ain't he more a legend? No. He might be an ace, but he's not the legend that Cal Mason is. In fact, Cal Mason was the one escorting Reaper Squadron to do the strike, whereas Doc was taking the F8s to take out the fighters.
Yep.
Um,
Teamwork makes the dream work.
So that was the difference.
Yep.
One Super Hornet, flown by Cal Mason, was escorting all of Reaper Squadron to attack the Kingship.
Yep.
And Henry Cavill and the F8s were taking out the fighters.
Yep.
So that's how awesome Cal Mason is.
Yep.
See, Paul, I favour him as well.
Yep. Well, he did a pretty cool maneuver to use the ship to blow up the shield.
And to blow up the shield generator or the shield relay.
Yep.
Paul Bowen, aka Asuni, says, are you guys excited for the crafting and resource qualities? To me,
it just makes it a more complex yet easy to learn system.
Yeah, to me,
It's got depth.
When we were at Citizencon, I said that's just like Dayok.
Yep. We also noticed that it said solid and liquid, and the only one that we couldn't see was gas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we'd it kind of theorized where we were going, and with the extraction and drilling, they didn't tell us whether drilling was just the domain of ships, though, did they? They wouldn't say anything in that regard. So we were theorizing that building is for drilling now, and there won't be any more drilling ships. But there will still be gas collection ships, again, like the Starfarer, because we don't have any drilling ships. But also the other thing that was kind of confirmed that we've talked about was the agriculture and herds and all those types of ships. So there's still a lot of ships to come that they haven't even touched the surface on.
Yep. So I'm excited for that type of stuff. For me, it goes back to Dayok. In Dayok, crafted items were better than any of the stuff you could find. You'd make it with the best stuff. If you could I could make a sword. You could make a sword if you had better mates than me.
Yeah, I need to answer that. He said the wrong thing. So he says the Pioneer will be a drilling ship. No, the Pioneer has extractors on it.
Yep.
So it has the ability to extract out, that's what they're not called drillers, they're called extractions. But the Pioneer had someone will tell you in chat exactly what it was, but it had extractors on it.
Yeah, it had 4 basically in the landing gear. It had 4 extractors.
Yeah, so it can land and start extracting
the
to build stuff.
And that was a huge thing. And then the advantage of the new design of that is once you've drained out the resources there, you can actually move it, and you're not disturbing the build, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, cool.
So
you're gonna have to make 2 boxes, Diane.
Yeah, because I want one as well.
Yeah. So you want to make like a really big one, a medium one, and a little one. Little one's for Algrid, medium one's for John, big one's for me.
He's mean. He's mean, Diane. He's always mean to me.
All right.
Warthog Smurf says, did they say anything about ships that need rework? Starfarer?
Oh, a whole bunch of them.
Yep. basically everything we brought up to gold standard, and the Zeus is basically the new gold standard, which John had said on ISC anyway.
That's what happens with every ship. The next one out is the gold standard, and everything's got to be brought up to where it's at, and it's gonna be never ending, right? That's kind of essentially what we've heard anyway over the years.
Price prediction on the Terrapin medical variant.
I'd have to assume it's more expensive, wouldn't you? Or do you think it's gonna be cheaper? Because I'm gonna be honest, when that was it the Scorpius and Terry's came out, that really threw me and you, didn't it?
Well, it depends on how you lose. It looks like because of where the medbed is, you lose your turret.
You lose all the scanning stuff.
You lose all your optional scanning stuff.
Is that a ship that appeals to you? I'm just curious. Because it doesn't appeal to me at all.
I could see it having value as a search and rescue.
We'll put it this way: even if it was the same price as the other Terrapin, I'd just go spend $50 and get the. It wasn't even $50 to get the other Apollo, and the Apollo's only less than 6 months. It was in the fucking picture thing.
Depends on what quality that bed is.
I'll give you that. But you've got one bed.
Yep.
Versus
3.
2 rooms.
Or 2 rooms, yeah. And a maximum.
And it's customizable.
6 or 2.
And it's customizable. That ain't. But what are you going to return? A heavily armored little armadillo medical recovery vehicle
that can go into a combat zone.
It is search and rescue. That implies, and I can hear the military people probably already screaming in chat, but it's something along those lines. That's what you're getting. You're getting a combat medical recovery.
It's for hot extraction.
Yeah. If it had the Apollo recovery drone on it,
and the ability to
what was it called? What's that drone called?
The Shepherd.
The Shepherd.
The Shepherd drone.
That would be really cool if you could zoom in, take some shots, pick someone up, and get the hell out of Dodge.
And or even pick someone up and then go behind asteroids.
If anything, it just makes things more difficult for other ships like the Cutlass Red and the Pisces and shit like that. Yep. But again, we've been saying this for years. Don't think your ship's safe. Look what's just happened to Redeemer. People losing their goddamn mind because the tax showed up.
Yeah.
There's no, if you like a ship and it sounds like it's out on its own on an island, chances are it's going to have something else come up and stand next to it at some point.
I still look at the Redeemer and the TAC at the moment, and I see them as 2 different roles.
They are, but they are similar too.
They are similar. They're a similar ship, but they've got totally different roles.
But that's also good design.
Yeah.
You've got to clash with it, but you've also got to be able to stand apart.
So, yep. Jag Mason says, don't know if you've heard, but Richard Tyler posted on Spectrum that AI Blades will come for 1.0 and NPC will come post 1.0.
That's the 3rd time we've been told this stream, but thank you. And he probably posted it 2 hours ago.
Yep, he probably did, and we haven't looked at Spectrum. Yeah. In fact, it was interesting. I thought that was one of the things that came out.
That was actually one of the questions with John and Ben.
And they basically said, no.
Too many notifications. Yeah.
So John will kind of look at it once a while. He gets the notification. I think he said Tyler gives me an update of what's on Spectrum and other things.
Shoot Agrid a message saying tell him what you think of the medical Terrapin, and we'll read it on stream because he knows his stuff. He's saying that SARS in combat is way different, so he would know.
Yeah,
because he's worked with those people. So just give us a brief paragraph on your thoughts.
Because
why would we want a medical Terrapin? Tell us that.
Yep.
And we'll read it out. It'll come through to Agrid.
It'll be way down the bottom.
No. I said just he'll send it to you in a direct message. What dinosaur are you? Anyway. Right, next one.
Okay, next question. Darth Digit. What did John think of your shirts? He loved them.
Yeah. Well, we're still wearing
one you answered earlier.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the quality.
Yeah,
the really well.
Is really good.
That's actually something else I've got to ask. If you get, because we don't get to see the ones that were shipped to you guys, they were shipped from a different place in the States.
Yeah.
And so when you get them, please let us know how good or bad they are, because if they're bad, we're going to be pissed. Yeah. So we want to know how good they are, because we're really happy with these ones we got to see in person, but we didn't, again, buying it off a website from the other side of the world, we didn't have anyone in person to go kind of look. So if you get one and you're in chat, please let us know, or reach out via Discord if you're unhappy, because I just want to yell at them if they've fucked it up. And we won't use them again if that's the case. But again, as far as we know, they've all been shipped to you guys. We should check up on that too, to make sure they have all been,
yep,
like there's no holdovers. But again, we've been busy as hell.
We have.
SA's got that skeleton thing.
Yep. Haven't seen anything from him yet.
Well, that one said new.
Sorry, that was me.
All right. Well, he hasn't said
I
anything.
haven't seen anything from him yet.
All right. Next question.
I'm going to go back to string question.
Oh, so now it's thank you, what's that guy's name? Prorus for teaching people how to write questions. You don't have to put question in brackets either. It's just got to have the word question in it. So you go, you know, when you typed in how to ask a question, that would literally come through. It literally just has the word. It's actually filtered to any version of question.
If you say that
capital
was a good
letters,
question,
lower
that
letters.
comes through for us.
Yep. We could set it to any word. Like if you mentioned algorithm, we could do that. That's what the plot's like. We just set it to every variant of the word question.
Yep. So
we should technically go back and add statement as well.
Yeah.
At some point.
Because that is something we often like to see.
We often ask. Yeah.
Or even context.
Or something like context would be a great one.
Because we're often asking for context.
Oh, there you go. There's SA. Read that one.
So, STAR under fire or CASVAC, casualty evacuation, are a huge risk for the crew, which would cause more problems if they are taken out. Yep. So,
do you think it's two-person? I'll ask that to you. Do you reckon it's two-person? One to run out and grab the guy, and one to control the ship.
I think it'd have to be.
And that's also why you're losing more shit. You probably don't have the long range, like you lose all the toilets and shit like that, and it just becomes one's a doctor, one's a med vac or medic, and the other's the pilot. So it's a two crew and a one person. So you probably get extra life support and shit like that.
Yep. And so you're
yeah, but it makes sense. Yeah. Like again, a cutlass is not going to stand up to that shit. It is search and rescue, but it's not combat search and rescue, is it? It's like, oh, there's a ship that got destroyed. We'll go try and find them in the wreckage.
So do you think, SA, that a heavily armoured turtle search and rescue evac ship?
What was the name that someone? Oh, Kerapen.
Kerapen, yeah.
I thought that was so good, like the Nurser, but you change it from terror to care. Kerapen. Yeah, that's the best one I've heard so far.
So a small ship with more armor has a large advantage compared to the much larger and less. Well, that's kind of what we're thinking, and that's why I always like the idea of it. Minimum crew, So you say minimum of 2 for a crew, 1 for pilot, because you want to be able to make sure you're staying out of damage. 1 for doing the medical, or the retrieval.
It's more like a rescapin, not a Kerapen, but the Kerapen works too. I don't know. I don't think you're getting a perfect name like the Nurser. But that works so well.
I would hope or expect that that ship would have the Shepherd drone rather than needing someone to go.
What do you say? Minimum of 2, if not 3.
2, but not 3.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be.
Care usually requires.
I reckon. I reckon it'll be 2 and a third for the. You got to remember they got the robot bed thing, so that's kind of makes up a person. So it's a patient and med tech and a pilot.
Yeah, would be what you'd be looking at for life support. And I think if it's got the Shepherd drone, that relieves the problem of needing to go either out and get them. So
but that's a guess on my part.
That's us.
And everything I saw from the internals doesn't kind of imply it's got a Shepherd drone. But the fact that it's got 2 utility mounts, you're giving up a lot for a medical bed.
Yeah, you're giving a lot for that.
Yeah.
But I'd still expect it to have pretty good sensors, so you can actually. And I think the sensor to be geared to detecting.
I'll throw this out to you then. Considering they did multiple variants of the Raven, do you reckon they might have done a sneaky second Terrapin?
A second a troop ship?
Well, you know, in law, there's the bunker one, not the bunker one, the armoured troop transport.
The armoured troop transport. It's not necessarily as good, but cozy, but it's certainly it's certainly one that is liked by special.
What did he say?
He said, I have to go back and have a look. I did see it. He was saying the scanners are probably better because it's got to pick up life forms.
True.
So they'd be key to picking up the people rather than the ship.
So you essentially are only giving up the bottom one or giving up the top one for the bed and the other one for the scanner. That makes a lot of sense.
I think you'd be giving up the seat scanner because the bed's kind of
in the way. But what I mean is you've only got the 2 utility mounts, so you're losing one to get the bed and keep the other to find the person. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. So I think the sensors sensors are going to be keyed for rather than ships or other things.
So the difference over the Cutlass is it's quicker at finding people and getting in and extracting them. But you'd probably have to imagine that, well, the Cutlass has got 2 beds, it's only got 1. There you go. There's your balance. And this even costs more probably.
And it's heavily armoured, and so you could it could go in, heat down, so you're giving less of a signal off.
Hey, there's that guy. I know that guy. Billionaire Ninja. How you doing, buddy?
Yep.
Hope you're doing well.
So yeah, I expect it to be pretty good, but he said I'm surprised they don't have a troop carrier or one with a size 7 top.
I
With a
think
size 7 on
it's
top.
heavily implied with the because this would have been onboarding, surely.
Yeah.
I think I'd be so surprised if they didn't sneak that in as well.
Yeah. Well, given
because if you think about it, they could have worked together for a little bit and learned together.
Yeah. Well, given the things like I spoke
Well, you
on the
learned
first
it. Yeah, tell them what you
on the
learned.
first night of our Citizen when it was like
This guy contacted
18.
me too.
Right?
That guy contacted me too. Sorry.
Yeah. When we were doing the Bar Citizen and there were like
Yeah.
40 or 50 or 60 CIG.
So it was roughly 40 to 45 CIG.
It was 1 to 4 easily of CIG.
I was like
people.
15 backers and like 40 plus CIG. It was amazing.
And
I just beelined.
Execute was sitting with Elliot and co for ages.
I just beelined it to like Torben, Elliot, Yogi. They're all sitting in one corner. I just.
Whereas I was floating for a while and talking to different devs and asking what they did, how they got into the game, what team they're on.
They probably thought I was a crazy lunatic.
And whenever I spoke, they probably did.
But I am a crazy lunatic.
But when I was speaking to the ship team, I'd always ask them, if you can tell me, what was your onboarding task?
Yeah.
And what ships have you worked on? And the onboarding tasks were things like the MPUV joystick.
Yeah.
Was one guy's boarding task.
So they change in scope depending on time. And...
Another guy's onboarding task was the gold pass for the Raven.
Yeah.
Someone else had, the other things. I said, what about the Retaliator decked out as a med ship? And they said,
who was it that asked us what job we would take at CIG if we could have any job we wanted? Who was that?
I have.
Someone asked that in the last 48 hours. I can't remember. It might have been Kelly.
No, I think I'd probably end up being law.
That's what I said. I said you'd have to be on the law team and work with Dave Haddock.
Oh, that'd be a dream.
I think I could only go back into design now. I don't think I could. Well, I've lost all my modelling skills. But it'll take me years to get them back at this point.
But
animation's gone.
As much as I'd like to do writing, I don't think I'd cut the mustard.
I don't think I'd cut the mustard either anymore. I'd have to come back up to speed.
Maybe if I picked up my Bahasa.
Yeah, I've replaced all my.
I could be a
game building knowledge with Star Citizen shit.
Yeah,
so I'm like this battery of, or what do you call it, knowledge of.
SA's response to the troop carrier one. Now in law, the troop carrier version of the Terrapin is favoured by special forces because it's so armoured and all the rest of it. It's not cozy, but I like it because it can get in sneakily.
Actually, I should ask him what he thinks of the TAC as well, because he'd have a way better take on it than you or I.
But his view is he's surprised they haven't got a troop carrier version of the Terrapin yet because it's a great frame. So if
you're not looking after kids essay, you should just drop invoice.
Yeah.
Or we aren't invoice, but we'll come drop invoice if we see you in the Inforunners recording.
But what's your take on the TAC in terms of a troop ship, ground assault?
And just so people know, SA is one of the guys that we do command and control with, so he knows his shit. He's one of the military boys.
He certainly knows his stuff.
That was the other thing. On the first night, all that professional point of view shit we did bore fruit. The geologist stuff we did, the refinery mining guys, all that is all valid. It was insane. Like where rocks could appear and stuff like that. We found about, again, it was shown in Citizencon.
And they were we saw it originally in Citizencon, and I remember one of the geology guys saying when they were looking at the maps that were being shown, and said that's how you'd expect it to form.
Yep.
And when they were doing we could even get weather guys on now, geologists, not geologists.
It's crazy. So if you're out there and you know someone that's into this niche thing that you think will fall into Star Citizen, try and get them out and contact them. We're going to have to start doing them again. There was only a couple you could do, right? Because it was the hardest one was the sonar. I had to find a sonar operator and a radar operator. Do you know how hard they are to find? And one of them was like 80 years old, I think, at the time. It was really hard. He's dropped in. All right, well, this is going to probably go horrendously badly. I don't know how this is going to work. All right, so this could go horrible, guys. Just heads up. Drop in there. And then I drag him down here. Alright, can you try speaking, SO? And I can't hear shit. I can't hear anything.
Use your phone.
Oh, use my phone? But then I'd need to go get my earbuds and they're back in the room. Plenty of lending either. This is basically how all Citizencon went, wasn't it?
Yep.
Everything went to shit.
That's lay plans.
Yep. All right. All right. Try now. SA, you're going to come through the phone into my mic. Go.
Yeah, it looks good. That sounds good.
Sounds shit as fuck.
Yep, it does.
Everyone's going to think you're broken.
But we can hear you.
Broken.
Yeah.
Very broken.
All right. So tell people your thoughts on the medical terrapin and the tack.
Well, he's told us his thoughts on.
Yeah, but it's better from the horse's mouth. Just a quick version of the terrapin, then. Or the carapin.
The terrapin, I mean, I've always said this. I think we've had this conversation before, but that
We
frame
have.
needs to be used for more than just that, that scanner. So yeah, the medical terrapin, definite. Hopefully they have some other variants as well.
Yeah, well, certainly in the document there was one for the medical and the troop version, or certainly in the law, as well as the base. They're the only three versions I've ever seen or heard of.
Yep. Oh, I've got the same shirt. We've both got the same shirt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just thought we were playing to. Yeah. Can you guys hear him okay? I know I'm literally doing a phone to microphone thing. It's dodgy as hell, but it saves me running all the way back up to the room. Just let us know if you can hear him or not.
And if not, we'll hear him and we'll repeat.
Make and copy. Okay. Sounds well enough. Okay, cool. We're used to jank. All right, so good. All right.
I mean, the TAC is just an opportunity to make money, in my opinion.
Agreed.
It's not. It's field of fire. It's ability to deliver troops.
I think it's size. I was trying to say we got into a bit of an argument, and I think the size is the problem. It's too big.
It's too big. It's too fat.
Yep.
Like a purpose grade ship. Like this last year, I took a lot of trips on C-17s, and
I
that's
actually.
designed to transport troops and do.
Sorry, I just randomly got a burrito and sat down I'm going to butcher the lady's name. Beck or B. So it was Beck. I think it was Beck and Tom or Barbara and Tom or something like that. Sorry, I'm butchering your name because it's 1,000 people I've met this weekend. But I just randomly sat down at this table and just started talking with this lady, and we're eating burritos, and then. And she said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm here streaming." And then she goes, and then she asked me who I was, and then I said who I was, and then she went, "Oh shit, my husband loves you." And then so I'm like stuffing my face with this burrito, and he just comes walking back, and he's just chuckling, and realised it was me, and yeah, so I had a chat with him while we were eating a burrito, and then I took a photo of him, and that was like that all weekend though. Same for you, right?
Yep.
And just off the cuff. Yeah. Sorry, I say.
I was standing in line, and I must have been. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Garrett, Inforunners. Can I get a photo? And it must have happened a dozen
Yeah.
times.
Well, he was a C-14 pilot, so that's what triggered it.
Yep.
So he said C-14, and I went, oh, la, la, la. Yeah, sorry, I say. Go, continue the story.
No, it's just what they're trying to get at with that ship is they want somebody who wants to do multiple roles. They want to be able to do pseudo combat, cargo landings and under heat, and it's just not designed for it. It's too much of a target.
Yep, some of the other people are saying it needs more support because of its size, stuff like that. And it all shoots. I thought of it a little bit like the A2 with all the downwards facing guns.
It is, and that field of fire is, not the worst, but I'd rather have 2 Redeemers in that ship. Easily.
That's what I said.
2 what?
2 Redeemers. That was the first thing I said to you when we got into that argument. I said, well, and then you went 2 Redeemers and it's done.
No, I didn't disagree with it. I was just looking at the options that you had.
I'm just telling you, he's rubbed off on me. Although I was awful at this shit. And him and Badgers were like drilling this military crap into my head.
I was not arguing with you in terms.
And I think if you no, I'm just sorry. But if you talk to Badgers and SA, they would say they can see the change in the because I had ludicrous shit at the start, and as the command and controls went on, that all 3 of our shit was becoming more and more similar because we're all learning off each other. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I wasn't disagreeing that 2 Redeemers would be better. You're spreading the casualty over ships.
This is not right or wrong, by the way. Yeah. This is me just saying, like I even said to you at the time, you're entitled to your opinion.
For a different, you've got to have the option for different gameplay.
Yeah.
And I could see in some situations
It is an
that would
option.
be better.
It is definitely an option.
But
is
it a wise or best option?
Well, again, for example, like massive big space station, is it actually going to be valuable there?
Yeah,
I think there will be let's say you've said this before, like when we went through all the drop ships, every ship will be best for a role, yeah. So there'll be a time where the
so
tack is
far the drop ships have all had a pretty even spreading of different roles.
Yeah.
So I can remember.
So what I'm saying
from
is we just don't know what the tax is yet.
Yeah, and I can remember from the.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but the one thing I did want to bring up is that if you are looking at the Apollo medevac and the Terrapin, medical Terrapin,
yep.
And I can't say this is the way it's designed, but this is what I would use them for. The Apollo medevac is a search and rescue, as in you have an event and you're picking up multiple injuries, probably in orbit, in space.
Yeah, I can't sit too small.
The Terrapin, because of the amount of damage it can take, and it's a single bed, is more designed to go into a current combat operation.
Yeah.
And grab somebody.
There's a guy in chat, I think his name's Rob or Rue, is essentially rude. He says Carapan needs stronger scanners to find life forms for surviving crew and pilot.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying.
But, I'm just saying there are people that agree with Essay. I'm just reinforcing what he's saying, that's all.
Yeah. The way the doors open, the way that it has its ramp, I mean, it's to me, I would use that for going down to surface to evacuate an injury. I would not use the Apollo for that.
Quick question.
So I think they both have roles.
Quick question. KC-130, is that Russian Hind-like helicopter, or what is that?
No, the KC-130 is it's a turboprop engine cargo plane.
Right.
That's been converted into, when you get a chance, just look up
Well,
Spectre.
Cole's saying that he thinks
it's a multi-purpose frame.
Well, Cole's saying he thinks the tack's like that in chat. Yes or no?
I mean, I would put it more to a C-17 only because of the ability to have a little bit of living quarters, but even a C-17 doesn't. I mean, the tack is you have a group of friends or a small org that wants to do multiple things with the same hull. That to me is what I view it as. Yeah. Like, so one day you want to transport cargo. One day you want to do a ground incursion with vehicles and a landing crew. One day you want to do close air support. That's the way I look at the TAC. It's the jack of all trades, master of none for a small org.
Yeah. What about the Max, if you want to weigh in on that? Because the Max, I think, is the one
the Max is, I actually bought a CCU for it. I like the idea of it. My first pledge ship was actually
the Max.
The Freelancer.
Oh, no, okay.
The original Freelancer back in the beginning.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've always loved the design of it. I even didn't mind the poor visibility. I like the
port window,
weird kind of pseudo-alien design piece. That being said, is the Max an ideal cargo hauler? No. Is it? But if you want to go to Pyro and run around with your friends hauling cargo,
okay,
have really bad turret coverage, go for it.
All right. Yeah, I still think the build is where it's at, personally. It's the only one that's really super unique. So, yeah.
No, the build, and I think, just a side note, as soon as I saw what they were doing with the Pioneer, and I saw what they were, especially that assembly bay for the ship.
A kiss and a hug from us.
I cannot wait for
she gave him for his birthday.
Now.
Yep. Sorry, we're doing two things at once. My bad. I am listening.
Oh, no worries. No, it's like after the build being announced and looking at that bay, and after the change into drones, and looking at the changes to the Pioneer, now I'm really excited for the Crucible.
Yeah.
I think the Crucible
that was another thing.
Could become a manufacturing.
So that's the other thing we learned. When the Crucible was put on the roadmap, it was a mistake.
Yep.
And we were like, oh, damn.
Yeah, it was a mistake. John Crew confirmed that.
We asked about that. We were like, we just had all these we went in with like one question, and then at one point I went down and I said, shit, I got 4 more questions after that one. Yeah. Like they just kept like one would feed into the next.
The conversation was just literally just going backwards and forwards. Like, what games John Crew plays? War Thunder.
Yeah.
He likes War Thunder.
Oh yeah. You're like Ben Curtis. He was a big fan of Star Wars Galaxies, like you.
Yeah. And MMOs.
Yeah.
So whereas John Crew likes the War Thunder because he can get in, play a game, get out.
Yeah, he liked the quick speed of it.
Yeah.
So
So going back to our,
we'll probably drop off Discord essay, but thank you. I do want to catch up with you, mate. We still haven't really caught up.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind. Yeah. All right, you take care and hug and kiss those kids for me.
Yep.
All right. See you, bud. Take care.
All right, Spacey Jones has a question. Do you expect the Arasta to go up in price, and if so, by how much and when?
Arastra.
I would expect the Arasta to go up in price
When it comes out. Yeah. Not now.
How much it'll go up, I'm not even going to speculate.
What is it? 575?
I don't know because I can't remember.
I think it was 575.
Which is why I'm not going to speculate. I can't remember. So, but usually
And the
it's up by,
Orion
what,
went
10,
to,
15%.
and the Orion went to 650, but the Orion's also not out. So I'm going to take the bet that it'll be 650 when it comes out, and then the Orion will come out and it'll go up again. That's my call.
That would be a guess.
So 650
sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
But I'd always be happier if it doesn't. Landfield.
Yeah, we'd all be happier, but let's be honest, we're not realists.
No.
So
Landfield says, my Pioneer package comes with outpost construction material. Do you think they'll specify at some point the quantity and quality of the materials and tell us what size settlement?
they did say it could build one settlement equal to what that could build, didn't it, back in the day?
Yep.
I also think the advantage now that it's changed is it has the extractors, so you can just collect your own resources. So before it had to be supplied, didn't it? It had to have another ship deliver all its shit to it.
Given that they said the build has materials to use on its drones, so it can build stuff, I would have to assume
Pioneer's the same.
the Pine is the same, but it'll have more.
Yep.
So
And that
you scale it up.
that cargo bay's increased. It could just come all spawned on it.
So
Yep.
we can't say, but I would have to say if all the build stuff come with the materials to at least build something, so you can start off.
Yep.
That is going to scale up.
Yep.
So a little drone thing can build the base hab. The next one can build something else.
Yep.
Yep. So that would be where I'd go, but that is speculation on my part. But I think it's a fairly even-handed.
Who's still on else? So hang on, let me check. Someone's still on the Discord. Was there someone else there?
Yeah, just SA.
Oh, SA's still there. Okay. No problem.
Okay, so Henrik has a question. Henrik says, do you think the subscriber flare on your account will become blueprint unlocked for your account?
Absolutely.
I would assume so, but
makes a lot of sense.
Your guess is as good as mine.
No, that's what it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You essentially are buying a blueprint so you can craft that item in game. Bang, done.
Yep, that seems reasonable to me.
And probably one free one.
But yeah. Dovikin777 says, after seeing the Perseus in the silhouettes for the next year, do you think we'll see it by next year's sale? If so, how do you feel about it coming up before we have a proper ship armor system?
I think that will kind of be at least the bespoke armor they talked about, the ammo types. I think they will. I would like to hope that comes with that ship.
Yeah.
And then that'll lead into bespoke ammos in FBS and other ships. The armor stuff, I think that's coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
it's kind of implied a bit.
Well, we saw it in the one of the last ISCs when they were talking components. You actually saw armor was being listed as a component, so you could see how much damage it had taken.
Yep. And how much it negated. Yep.
Yep. So I would expect it to be sooner or later. I would hope that when the Perseus comes out, we also get those different ammo types.
Yep. I just think it's going to be a cool little ship, like with the big turrets and the small crew. I think it's
even if we don't see the bespoke armor or bespoke ammo types, and it's not available yet, I think they'll still drop it because of the combat ship.
Well, you've essentially only got the only thing that's kind of even remotely in contention. Let's have a look at it. Right. Is Idris Pioneer, not Pioneer, Idris, Polaris, Perseus, and Hammerhead. And I think the Hammerhead would get absolutely smashed next to all those. Or maybe retaliate with Torps if you got enough off.
And you've also got the areas with the same size guns as well.
That's it. So you can damage them, but are you really going to kill one? That's the next question.
Yeah.
So again, if you put a Polaris against a Perseus, you'd expect the Polaris to win. But if you had two Perseus versus a Polaris, then it changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it goes back to the old money spent crew. I would expect a more expensive ship with more crew to be equivalent or better than a ship of.
I want to answer that one in a second. So Dafty Digit said, is the build, so the Starlancer build, like that of a Galaxy? Actually, it looks like it's replacing the Galaxy.
Yep.
And it's not it was heavily implied that that's what's happening. So I'd be picking up if you've got one or you've got a CCD one, I'd be picking up the CCD other just to play it safe.
Yep. I would definitely buy the CCU from it to the build.
It's not out
to
yet.
Play it safe.
But when it is.
Because it did seem that the indication was it wasn't. And John Crew's comment was, it hasn't been in the store. It hasn't been sold.
I feel sorry for people that bought a Galaxy just for manufacturing.
Yeah,
and now
well,
it's
because they did on the sale. It did say there are other things coming.
Well, it's manufacturing plus others, and the fact that it's now only the plus others is like, and that's why I only picked up a CCU, because I was like, well, I want that manufacturing, but it's not there,
and that's why a lot of people did get the Galaxy with that manufacturing aspect on site.
Yeah.
I know there are some people who got it for the medical.
Yeah,
I know some people got it for the refinery.
It's interesting now. There's more ships I'm passing on than I'm wanting, and it's happening to you too. The ships you're starting to pass on, isn't there?
Well, the ships I'm passing on just because of Citizencon and I couldn't afford them. I still want to catch them all because I'm crazy, but I can't.
And I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, I'm just a crazy collector. You know that. You've already hassled me about collecting the mouse pads and the merch. I'm not. It's not a violin thing. It's just stating it.
I'm gonna have to make, like, on the stream deck when I get home, like, sad violin music. And every time you get sad and soppy, I'll play it to the stream.
You're the one who's being sad and soppy and claiming on
theme. Our good theme music, we'll call it. Just sad violin.
One of these days, Rex. One of these days. Pow! Right in the kisser.
I just know how to what buttons to press.
He's just a rude individual. With the weirdness of having Warbond upgrades for the SL Max on launch, do you think we could also see the price not go up when flyable?
No, not in the country mile.
No, they'll go up.
You're on serious hope in everything. That's the case. 10,
that
was it 10 to
from,
15? Is it 15 to
42?
20 or 10 to 20? I can't remember. It's 10 to 20%.
My understanding is CIG will up their prices because I always say it's always cheaper to get when you buy.
So what's that, like 310? Around 310?
Yeah, I'd go with that. Sounds reasonable.
Around 310. Yeah.
Did they clarify? We've already done that. That was the class. This was North Peak, which is a different person who asked the question. But yes, we are actually asked the question about, since they showed the Bengal being built, does that mean we'll be able to build other Bengal-sized ships? And John basically said yes in the future.
Did you get a Peregrine?
Sorry?
Did you get a Peregrine too? Are you going to get one?
Eventually. Why? Because it'll be in the Pack 1 upgrade. Look,
hey, I'm not saying anything. I'm just doing this.
When I upgraded my pack, I now also own a steel, as much as I hate it. And I told you that when it happened, and you were well, and you didn't say anything.
I can't trust you anymore.
See, he doesn't listen. Now this is SA. SA had a question.
Yeah.
I was going to raise it before, but the conversation disappeared. And this is also related to something we talked about earlier today as well.
Yes.
With player stations being connectable, do you think they'll allow aligned orgs to create interconnectable stations?
This is a question there for you. Loud Guns asked, did you survive the merch queue, Al?
Well, I'm here.
Yeah. It took him 2.5 hours.
Took 2.5 hours.
Sorry to interrupt, but I thought you'd want to read that.
Well, it would have come down later.
It wasn't a question. It was just directly at you.
Okay, so
that's why I did it. Yep.
So SA's question, do you think they'll allow allied orgs to interconnect stations? We went one step further than that. We actually thought you could actually have allied orgs combined to build a station and divide.
You've got alliances. Why couldn't you work together and have the same station?
And say, okay, you've got this quarter, you've got this quarter, you've got this quarter.
And I could see it. Made the joke of like Burger King, Hungry Jack's, and KFC all on the same thing.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
All you need is one pioneer to start it off, and then everyone working, all those orgs.
The only problem then becomes if you break the alliance, what happens? But then it means everything goes into warfare.
It becomes like
maybe one org has to fight for dominance.
Yeah. Ruin Station.
Yeah.
Is kind of an NPC version of that scenario. So I can see that
They
happening.
did talk about the Banner Merchantman and how much of a setback it was, but they also mentioned that you just couldn't take like first year people and put them straight on a Banner Merchantman. So it's going to take time for those people to come up and skill, because the Banner Merchantman's all organic. It's almost the most bespoke thing you could ever make.
And also the fact you don't want to have people working on a ship that takes six months or a year.
Yeah.
You actually want to give people that break and
yeah, you want to change in between things so they don't get bored. It's a thing as a creative person. You don't want to be just. I can remember I was saying to Algrid, like the amount of art that I worked on that hit the floor used to drive me nuts. But also, working on the same thing for so long is just draining.
Yeah, and so I could see, and I could see that taking time, and it comes in with that design language stuff.
So again,
as well,
if they can get a team of like it might be a team of 20 that works on it, but they only have 3 people at a time, and they cycle them through. Everyone gets a chance to work on Banu. They learn about the Banu, and it
indeed,
yeah.
But we even talked about like as part of that design language stuff, and the design language is already done. Doesn't necessarily gel with the design language or things that the new people are thinking, and so. You've almost got to start from scratch and kind of build up again. And
so someone's just said there, Altzilla said the TAC is a sandworm hunting ship. It could totally be tailored at that. It's again what we're just saying. There's clearly a gap for it somewhere. We just don't know where it is yet. And you could be right. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. Just we've got to find its place, because at the moment it's needlessly big. Because I could also take that back to him and say, why wouldn't you just take 2 Redeemers? You're not going down there.
Because when you're doing a sandworm, you
need
a vehicle to disturb the ground.
A Redeemer and a Valkyrie.
So,
and they didn't have a TAC there at the thing. They had a Valkyrie and a couple of small fighters.
Yep. So, horses to courses, choices matter.
Yeah. Every ship's going to have its place eventually for something special.
Now, this is another question. Nova42 has a question. Do you think the Crucible will be considered a military ship and thus be unavailable for purchase?
Never been listed law-wise as well.
And what about the Vulcan?
Yeah. The Vulcan was no, that was civilian. Actually, it's civilian, because it was the only other one besides the Reclaimer by Aegis that was civilian. I remember now.
And the Crucible is by Anvil,
and
which is a military contractor.
Yeah, but I don't think it was military based. I would have to check the Crucible to be absolutely 100% certain, but I remember the Vulcan being the other one that wasn't military based by Aegis because of the Messer shit. And
I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either way with the Crucible.
It's too long.
Yeah, sure. Someone in chat might let us know, but from memory, it could go either way with the Crucible. But I'm pretty sure on the Vulcan.
I'd be lazy and just ask Paul.
Yeah, that works too.
Because I'm a lazy.
Yeah, there you go. See, someone said Vulcan is civilian. Crucible is Anvil, but also a civilian ship. There you go. Yeah. Bang. I think. Okay. He's in the same boat as us. He's not sure.
Yep. Jake Raven says, did they say an ETA on attack? No. I didn't hear it. Did you?
The ETA on the attack. Didn't they say production next year?
I think
sometime
they did
next year, 2025.
2025. So.
Yep. But it also implies that the build could be 2026.
Yep.
They didn't have it on the image. When building comes, it comes.
Yep.
They were pretty safe with the that blue silhouette. There wasn't a lot in that where me and you went, what is this? The only one, the most exciting one, like it was last year with the Intrepid, the most exciting one's that Drake one.
Yep.
The Drake vertical Corsair looking fat thing that looks, we were like, is it a medium heavy fighter by Drake? Because again, you got to remember they come in size order. So the next one after it, was it the Zeus or the Apollo? I always forget now.
I think it was Apollo.
Apollo or Zeus. But that means that the Apollo is the largest small. So that means it's got to be either the new largest small, which I doubt. So it's got to be medium or down.
Yeah. So
and what's another Drake medium? The Cutlass.
And I couldn't see it being the same size as the Cutlass, so I'd push it up. And then I don't know. Anyway.
I can see him at the same size, just a different role. So where the Cutlass is that utility cargo, this is more...
This would be a heavy fighter, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it would be cool. It's always nice having different ships, especially ships that
You're going to start coughing in a second.
Citizen Ninja, do you think CIG will release another consolidated Outland ship before Pioneer?
Yeah.
I would expect so, just for that family of ships to give them the design language, because there's very few consolidated
Yeah.
ships when I think about it.
Yeah.
You nodding, I think, just means we move on.
No, sorry, I was trying to. I'm worrying about the noise. There's people around us being loud.
Yeah.
They didn't imply any new consolidated outland ships actually.
No, they didn't.
Which is just like, we've got the Nomad, we've got the Mustang, bang, we're getting the thingo. But he did kind of hint at that they don't have a lot of ships.
Yeah.
So they may not get some in the middle, at least
Yeah.
until way down the line. So.
And I think we should probably stop the bot, because we still have
Oh damn! Really?
a lot of questions.
What time did we start? 3:30.
3:30.
And it's
7.
now
7.
7. Shit. Oops.
So we've been going a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's just because. Well, this is one of the ones that you drive. I've just sat here the whole time and
Yep.
tried to not vomit.
Yep. Will we be able to retract broken off parts from structures and ships, or reattach? I don't think we'll be able to reattach. I think we'll just salvage and rebuild them.
I think. Well, it depends what parts. Are you talking about ships or talking about buildings?
Ships and structures.
Well, so if a wing gets broken off, you can just reprint the wing frame, attach it to the frame. Obviously, that's what the knock the debris part off is for. So you knock it back to the joint, attach the new wing, and then print the skin essentially over the top.
Yeah.
And then with a building, I assume it's much the same. If you knock off a door, you take the whole door off, salvage the door, and put a new door on.
Yeah, I'd expect something similar, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, but if that core frame's gone, so the core piece of, say, a Hornet, the central core's gone, the whole ship's gone. So it's just salvage all the pieces.
Yep. Fox Creative Gaming, do you think the Missile Lancers are the gold standard for MISC?
For now.
For now, maybe.
And then next week when the next one comes out. That let's be honest, that's whatever the latest ship is, it's the gold standard, isn't it?
Yep. Because I'm just agreeing because it's the way things go.
Yeah.
I think John even talked about that in terms of gold standard. You know, like the gold standard at the moment is the Zeus.
Yep.
When they bring the next ship, it just raises the bar.
It's pretty obvious.
Because says, do you think that Henry Cavill, since he's starring in the game, do you think he's a backer as well? Well, we know he's a backer as well.
I've got to read that one because Chase the Calm Gaming says, is it practical for a solo player to even own a Pioneer? I think that was the other thing. Like, he was surprised. So Ben Curtis was saying he talked to an org, and the guy was saying everyone in the org owned a Pioneer.
Yeah, he asked him how many people had a Pioneer, and they said everyone.
Yeah, and he was surprised by that. So he doesn't. I think that kind of surprised him how they sold it. They weren't. It's meant to be like 1, maybe 2 for a really big org.
Yeah.
So that was. It's definitely one of those ships that you do not need a lot of, and I think that's also implied by the fact that it's limited.
Yep. And
it is still one of the only limited ones left, isn't it?
And I think that's why it'll stay limited.
Yeah, me too.
So,
but by the same token, that doesn't mean everyone in that org's going to go around and melt the one they've got.
No.
But what they probably need to imply, or the message they need to send, is if everyone in your org has one of these, you're probably, they need to put out the information like, you need 1 per 1,000 people in your org, or whatever that is going to be. You know, that they probably need to inform people, because I think there will be a lot of melting of Pioneers later down the road.
Yeah.
Just because once you've got that, all they're needed for is really to start the space station.
Yep.
And once that's started, you could really get everything. You can kind of almost get everything else out of the galaxy. Or there are a few buildings it can build that it can't, but that's a predominant thing. Is claim to fame is I start the space station.
I start a space station, and then we fill it up with a whole E or a D or a C, and with all the other stuff.
Yep.
Now, the other thing they did talk about, which relates, I think, vaguely relates to this, is they track everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, I know, I'm pretty certain we talked about this earlier.
No, we're talking about marketing.
But they track everything.
Marketing track all the CCUs, all the prices, how cheap someone got a ship for.
Yep.
So the person with the record for the Carrack, they would know that. They've put everything together.
And they actually put that in terms of why upgrade, the discounts and upgrades.
So they've been watching us, Agri. We're going to have to do something about it.
Yep. We've
got an idea for Tinfoil Hat episode 2, don't we?
Yep.
So we're going to do that.
It is
when we get back, we'll do the silhouette ship video, but with the spin.
Yep. Maxwell TV, do you get some information about the Genesis Starliner rework? We didn't even mention it.
Galaxy, no, that's obviously a reconcept.
Yep.
It's obvious.
Yeah. Well, the Galaxy Starliner.
If you've been
originally
around for
had-
long enough, it's obvious,
Yeah.
isn't it? Or
Yeah,
am I being
No,
pedantic?
no,
And
because originally it was the Starlifter and the Zoo. You know, it basically had everything that the Hercules has
Yep.
become, plus other stuff.
Yep.
It's going to be. We don't know
well, it
about
kind of
We
looked old and dated, and now I think they've modernised it a bit, wouldn't you?
and we didn't ask about it. We didn't ask.
We didn't ask at all.
We didn't ask. We didn't get told.
There's a lot of things we did ask, and again, when you've only got an hour and a half,
and
they just kind of flowed.
yeah,
I don't know how else to say that.
it was just a conversation.
Yeah, it wasn't a plan like, here is all these questions you must answer. I said to Algrid, I'm just going in with one question.
And we,
Yeah.
you know, and we didn't even ask about cameras. You know,
We didn't even get a
in fact,
photo.
No, we didn't. We didn't remember to get a photo. But we'd basically said, look, we just want to sit down and talk. If they want to be recorded and do an interview,
Yeah.
we're happy for that. But if they don't want to do that, we're just happy to sit and talk and have a drink and just chin wag and and what we
That's
did.
what it was. We just socialised. It was just like four guys hanging out. Yeah.
In fact, when I was messaging Sandy and talking about it, it was just like we did on Tuesday, or
Yeah,
just like we did on
Just
just
what we
like
did with
when
her.
we were
Yeah.
you,
It was just us.
and it was like,
Yeah.
well, and Sandy was concerned. She didn't want us for them to be in a situation where they felt ambushed.
We didn't want them to be
And we
in
didn't
that
want them to
situation,
feel
did we?
ambushed either.
Yeah.
So,
So, no cameras, no. We probably could have asked them for a photo, but
we probably could have asked for a photo, but
I don't need it. Do you need it?
I've said to Sandy, I always feel weird asking for it because it feels like it's just wasting their time or taking, you know.
Well, it's for me, photos with someone that you idolize. It's like, look, guys, look, I did this. It's almost boasting, and it's not. We don't not big into boasting where we are.
Yeah.
Because Aussies aren't that way. Celebrityism where we are is just not the same as it in other countries. You know, I always just treat people like people.
Yeah.
So,
Although I did it was nice, it was weird, and it was kind of humbling to be asked for an autograph.
that was we had to sign an autograph for the first time as our aliases, didn't we? And that was
Yep.
weird.
The first time I did it, I started to write Algarad and actually signed my name. So whoever's got that, they know who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Algarad.
Well, I wrote it on. It was also on a T-shirt, so it made
Yep.
it different. Because I'm like, shit, I can't write on the T-shirt. Oh
Yeah,
shit,
the
I'm writing
t-shirt-
something I've never written before.
The T-shirt was
Yeah.
harder, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the first one,
It's that guy called Andy that we kept running into, and he kept saying, "No, I wasn't there."
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
yeah,
I was like,
He
dude,
was
he's
PK man.
exactly the same as the other guy that saw us the other
yeah,
night.
the PK guy.
Yeah, and he kept saying he wasn't there. I don't know. I think he was either just trying to hang out with us a lot, or
No,
It was
I think
weird.
I think it just
he
we were
looked
just running
very
into each
similar.
other. So
Maybe he had a goldfish memory, like he had one, like you know that
no,
Adam Sandler movie
hey,
where
he
50
never,
First
he never
Dates.
forgot me. I'm just saying,
Ah,
just you, mate, just
Okay.
you.
okay.
Didn't forget me.
That's how it
Just
is.
you.
Yep.
Um,
Fan favorites.
Hunter May has a question. Have you gone to any really cool pubs and had any really good food?
Yes,
Yeah, we have. We've been to two.
I want to go there right now.
We've been to two pubs. The Thomas's Chop Shop and
Probably have to end this early
Sam
so we
Chop
can
Shop.
go get food.
Yeah, we probably need to leave now if we want to get food.
Yeah,
Um,
but I'm also thinking we could just go to Greg's. There's
Yeah, we
one
could.
literally down there.
Yep. We also went to
Well, the Wellington's going to be packed. We're never going to get in
yeah,
there.
we'll never get in there.
So
we
it's
did-
either back to Mr. Thomas's or Sam's.
We did go to a coffee shop, which was very nice. That was one that was recommended to us by,
Mm.
and the place next door, the Flat Iron. That's also a place that's been highly recommended.
What was that? The pizza place?
That's Flat Iron is steak and
Remember I got released. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say if I ate the pizza again, I'm going to get sick again.
so no, they do steak and.
Oh, we'll
and
go
stuff.
flat on. Right.
Um,
How many questions we got left? Rapid fire time, I think.
I've been trying to rapid fire
Oh,
them.
fuck
but
me.
That's why I
Serious?
said turn
It's
off
like
the
4
bot.
pages. Oh, fuck. Just
Um,
if just skim read them, and if we've done them before,
so-
skip them.
That's what I'm trying to do. As half of us are going away to help our fellow gamer out, do you think we'll see taxi transporting NPC gameplay added
They
anytime
kind of implied
soon?
that with the shuttle thing, didn't they?
I think that's something they've hinted at in the past as well.
Yeah. So the shuttle have to be tied into some of the other AI stuff for sure.
Yep.
Yep.
T-Jack, who do you think brings the most cash to this project, solo players or team players?
Does it matter?
Does it matter?
It really doesn't matter.
Do you think
It's going to take all types to make the game.
Do you think engineering changes the fact that NPCs won't come out until 1.0 impact? Okay, no.
Been here as long as we have, none of that matters. You're just going to be waiting, be patient. That's the thing we'll keep saying is like good things take time. Look at like when the Banner Matchman got killed. We were telling them that too, weren't we?
Yep.
Like we were probably the only people that went Banner Matchman's been delayed. And we're like, yeah, because it means it's going to be better.
I even said it. You know, when people say, because my shit's going to be better. And, and I think they chuckled at that because
they did chuckle
because they know it's true.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the better something is. So we just learned. We've been waiting 12 years. Like I can wait a few more.
The classic example is the Zeus.
Yep.
Zeus comes out, and John said it is a new gold standard.
Yep.
And that even was raised when we were talking about that, you know. So So yeah, next question. Apollonus01, do you guys think that 5 systems aren't enough? No,
it's plenty
because it was always a plan. Back in 2014, on 10th of the chairman, Chris said we're only going to have 5 systems to start. The others will come after. But now we're told. Originally, that plan was like there'd be maybe.
What's the name of the locations? It was originally 120, and it's now up to like 1,000 in standard. It's going to be even more.
So, what was originally going to be in the whole 100 systems
with Dyson, where he said it's deep as a puddle, as wide as an ocean. Now it's going to be wide as an ocean, deep as an ocean.
That was Dyson's fear, wasn't it? That it was going to be wide but shallow. It is going to be wide and deep, and we see that with Stanton. And I remember saying at the time, look at Stanton, that's pretty deep. And he said, yeah, but I'm not going to be able to do it.
Would you put it this way? Wait for them to come out and see that's the gold standard for everyone after it coming forward.
Yeah.
That's how I would see it.
Yeah. So I think 5 systems is enough. There's already enough. And the planets. I remember them saying, you know, on one moon.
All right, we've got 15 minutes and
you can get everyone to go around. So
we got 15 minutes, go.
I've been trying.
I'm not putting any pressure on you, but you got 15 minutes.
You spent as much time on some of those questions as I have, so don't get shirty, boy.
No. I'm just trying to tease you because it's usually me that has to rapid fire. You've got competition.
Shut up. I'll just put it that way. Lord Shim Ultra says, how do you feel about style answers? Mixed, haven't really looked at them. Always searching. Do you or talk to anyone at CIG about the BMM? Yeah, we talked to John Crew.
Yep, and Ben.
Yep. What is your favourite moment in Squadron 42 playthrough?
There was a lot. Interactive cinematic, number of things on screen at once.
I think the fact that the possibility of the story arcs.
Where he stopped to pick up Gillian Anderson's character.
Can you
leave her behind or take her?
She tells you to go, or do you choose to save her? And how does that change her play going forward?
And we know that there's multi-pathing in it, so we think that must be the first choice. Do you just
that might be one of the first choices,
or do you pick up and take her with you?
I also like the fact that
because think of it on the other side, how does that affect Bishop? Oh yeah, she died in service. Here's the medal. Oh, I rescued her. What is there a plus and minus that to you? Possibly not. But it might change how Bishop acts throughout the story.
Yep. Also, one of the things I liked was the fact that you spend a little bit of time getting to know the crew, and then you're watching all of them get killed.
Yeah.
Maxwell TV, what do you think about the future we could craft chips and Big Benny machine? I imagine we will be able to, or at least the vending machines.
Why not?
Then have
another blueprint. You do some missions for Big Benny, and they give you Big Benny's machine to make. Yep. Might even have missions to make them.
Do missions for Terra Mills, and then you get the permission to sell their stuff.
Yep.
Manny has a question. Since they didn't mention blades or NPC crew, will you now modify your ship recommendations? No.
Nope. They did mention them.
Yep. Maxwell TV, which food have you eaten at the convention?
Burritos.
A burrito.
All I had was burritos.
I had 1 burrito.
Yeah, I think I had 3.
Joey.
Over 2 days. Yeah.
What do you think the role of... what do you think the role will be for the weird Corsair-looking ship, heavy fighter?
Yep. Heavy or medium or something like that is what we expect.
Tom Van Doren, it's insane that Vandal ships are also built by JC Team. Don't you think, Guy? No. I think it's just something that will happen or should happen. Hunter May, do you see updates on the Javelin model?
Yes.
Yes.
Grim,
The
Grim,
door's open to
Grim
it.
confirmed there was updates on the Javelin, the Idris, and he's not sure on the Kraken, but I'm pretty sure there is. Because
Yep.
I'll put it to you guys: go into Cousin Crow's and tell me if you think that's been updated. I check it every 6 months, and it looked like it had a agreeable passed on it.
Yep. Maxwell TV, what do you think about the instance donjon style of sub-basement level of upcorp?
Makes sense using instance
dungeon,
like other
dungeon style sub-basement.
yeah other MMOs do that, don't they?
Yeah, and I liked it was instance, and it looked like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do instance 1, and then each time you go down a level,
Yep.
you're increasing the quality of stuff you can get.
Yep.
It means that small PvE groups can go down and get the stuff.
Well,
that
we
you get
went
enough
further,
stuff.
didn't we? We were like, can they be procedurally generated so they're different every time?
Well, I think the levels go down, but can you go back and do level 1 and do a different
But what I
mission?
mean, like, once you reset it, does the whole thing become procedurally generated and it's different again? When we don't know. But that would be cool. Think of all the different the replayability that adds.
I would hope it is. Like when I play Lotra and I do the instance missions, if I do instance mission number 1, every time I go in, it's just I do it blindfold.
Yep. And you could kind of do little bespoke NPCs for your mission.
But I would love it to be I go into the mission and it's a totally different mission at level 1.
Yep, different mission, different NPCs. Remember how they talked about Space Pirate Roberts and stuff like that back in the day? So your own version of that. And it's it's a 3-story mission. As you go deeper, you're getting down to his base or whatever.
But I think as you're doing those missions, I think the fact that you'll be able to get those unique prizes or unique stuff, it's just another avenue for people to get it. It's giving that PvE style, the PvE
customizing
style,
the whole mission to it.
Customizing it for gameplay so that every type of player can get to the end goal and the top tier stuff. And I think it's great. I think it's a positive. Michael Smith, what about non-human characters or interaction with alien races down the track, but not present?
We did talk about alien plants, though, didn't we? How they were all human trees. So they showed some pretty exotic creatures. So we were like, maybe they'll have some more human creatures, so to speak, as in like a regular cow, but also going the other way into more alien plants.
But in terms of the people we've spoken to, it's something that's out of their wheelhouse. So
further down the line. We
haven't spoken to anyone from the environment.
I think it would be, again, because they haven't shown anything, it'd have to be much further down the line.
Joshua, do you think 1.0 is leaving most explorers in the cold, with the bulk being mostly explored systems? What is there to explore? Hundreds and thousands.
You need to look up what exploring is. There's like 5 different tiers to it. There's like constantly respawning resources you need to find. You need to keep things updated. The search and rescue.
There's also finding those temporary jump points.
Yep.
So temporary up joints, points of interest.
Yep. That's how you're going to get a wormhole named after you for that week. Then it's called the Old Man Hurston Butthole. That's what I'll name mine. So everyone can go through Old Man Hurston's butt. What do you reckon?
Star Raven. Did anyone dare ask about BMM status? It's not yet because they're working on other stuff.
Yep.
And they need to give people the chance to build up to it. But we said we don't care because it builds up. It gets better as it goes on.
Yep.
R has a question. Outside of Citizencon, are you guys enjoying time outside the island jail? And have you gotten to see some nice sights at all? No. I was going to go today, but I ended up doing laundry. Our best times have been talking to John and Ben.
Talking to CIG.
CIG people, yeah. Wrong one, that one. Lord Shim Ultra, Shim Umbra says, question, do you think CIG has pretty much said it is so far up to constantly sell ships in the store thanks for warranty changes? I think they'll keep selling ships, and so yeah. What CIG staff is still in LA? I don't think any, and they're certainly not advertising for any positions in LA. Probably the office front desk and the janitors at the moment. I have no idea. Metro question, with CIG briefly mentioned having multiple characters on one account, do you think they're shying away from the idea of extra game packages being becoming NPC crew? No, because that's something they mentioned ages ago and they haven't mentioned
until they mention it again in one way or another. It doesn't change.
Star Raven question: has it ever been confirmed that we will be controlling the repair drones?
Yes, on the Vulcan.
And also, I think they mentioned it when we were doing the research on the Crucible.
Yes.
But that's all I can remember. Could they not be automated in the sense that you tell the drone what to do and then it does it? They also said that with a Vulcan way back when they did it.
Initially automatic, and then it looks like they're going to move to manual later. So tier 1 and
Yep.
tier 0 or tier 2 or whatever for drones.
Kishkin, any thoughts on the simplicity of base building? I have concern about the eventual gameplay loop being reduced to push button. Do you see it differently?
Wait till you see it. Tier 0 could just be hook and it prints it. But then what if you've got to keep resupplying the materials? There's so many,
they
different
did
things
say in the demo,
Yeah.
they're building it straight away when you click it.
Yeah.
But when it's in game, it's going to take a lot longer.
And they said it's going to be a fully fledged gameplay mechanic.
So I'll take them at the word, because whenever they give them the word, it ends up being what they say. But sometimes
Come up with some pretty
time.
stellar stuff, don't they?
They do. Altzilla says, when introducing the Starlancer family, they said they were introducing the first 3. This implies additional variants. What are other variants you could think?
What did they say?
Exploration. When they introduced the Starlancer family, they said, we're introducing the first 3. Does that imply additional variants? We didn't ask, but it could.
Didn't ask, but definitely. Never say never.
Never say never. Which was a common phrase that
was often said.
Ball bouncers. If you're extracting through the landing gear, will that make the ground supporting the ship weaker and
Think of the Reclaimer, how it's got engines with inside the landing gear. Similar thing.
Yep.
Instead of an engine, it's a drill.
But that's not the question. The question was, will it make the ground weaker and collapse? No.
No.
It could, but then I don't think they're going to do that.
Maybe down the line.
VL Amanda says, question, do you think there were still more large repair ships like the Crucible to come out? What have we talked about after the drones?
I think the Crucible is going to be a capital.
I think the Crucible will be a capital ship. I think I've said it before, I think it had a capital, and I think we checked and it didn't. But I think it will be.
I think it'll probably grow.
It grows.
Because of the Scarab.
Because of the Scarab, and also because of it when it gets its components and stuff. So I think it will be capital.
Again, it's one of there's only 2 ships left of the old metrics, and everything was on the old metrics grew like crazy.
Yep.
So Crucible's probably going to do it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely room there for another repair ship between the Vulcan and the Crucible.
G Sharp says, in the 1.0 talk, Rich mentioned the story cycle that you had to get an F7 blueprint because it is a military and you can't buy it. Does this mean that there will be a lot less ships you can buy in game? Probably.
But you can also buy them from other players. If you think about it, it gives an area for players to specialize in.
Yep, and that's one of the things you even talked about as well. Yep. This will impact what small ships people will buy in and out of game.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, we've always been saying sell your fighters. They're a waste of fucking time.
Yep. Flitzer, will they need to have more medical gameplay before they release the Apollo, or are they just focusing on other things first?
Well, they've got modularity in now with the Retaliator, so it's isn't it just... So you put all the... How many is there? 3?
There's 3 types of...
So it's 2 times... I'm terrible at the math with trying to work out combinations.
You could have a room with 1 bed, tier 1, or tier 3.
Don't work out every combo. There's a way to do it with math, and I've forgotten what it is.
But there are 3 rooms.
No, there's only 2.
There's 1 with 2 beds, 1 with 1 bed, 1 with 3 beds.
I think it meant 2. There's 2 physically in the ship, is what I meant.
But there's 3 options you've got, and you've just... Any, mini, miny, mo, which
so isn't that like... It's like 9 variants, I think, if I do the math. It's close to that. But at the moment, they have to put every variant in the game. So when you go, I want this bed and this bed, that's the one that spawns.
Yeah.
And that's why things like the Endeavour become a nightmare, because there's way too many modules to do that.
It's not only the big module, but it's also little modules.
The Caterpillar is another one.
Monster.
Yeah.
So we did ask about the Caterpillar's modules. They are coming, but when they get back to Drake.
Yeah.
Spacey Jones, what ships do you expect to have price change at next ship sale? Any ship that we want to increase the sale of.
Anyone that's close to release or coming out.
Yep. Or any ship that's too good.
Pioneer might go up, just as an example, because they announced new shit about it. They might find it's too fucking cheap. I don't know.
Do you expect 1.0 faster than 5 years from now? Yes.
Actually, wasn't that something we talked about? Because they didn't talk about the Odin system, and the Odin system
Yep.
is in Squadron 42. So
Yep.
therefore, I theorize that means the 1.0 has to come before
Yep.
2026.
Yep, that's either before 2026 or it has to come before, because Odin comes after. So Odin part of Squadron,
Yeah.
the other systems are out. So
Yeah.
we expect it
Just
earlier
by-
than 5 years.
Again, because you get Odin for free, why wouldn't you chuck it in?
Yep.
Well, we're not going to chuck it in because we want Squadron to come after.
So that's our thought process there. But
Yep.
we could be wrong, but that makes logical sense.
Yeah.
If Rumui at you, 40 at you, yeah, whatever. What's your estimate on the final Polaris price? Expensive.
Wasn't it 10? It's 750, 10%. So that'll be. I think we said 850 to
I think we
950.
said that in the past.
Yeah,
Expensive.
850 to 950. 900, I think Lemming said. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think that me and Lemming were pretty on. Lemming's in Twitch, so Lemming, just let me know your thoughts. I think it was 900, 950. Me and Lemming was pretty close to.
We're down to our last half dozen questions. So,
Oh fuck! Well, you've got
Hollington.
3 minutes. Go.
Hollington, should the Pioneer be CCUable now since it's extra large building?
I would love it to be, but
I would love it to
think
be,
will
but I don't think it will be. I think it's still going to be limited.
Yeah, he said 950.
Yep.
For Polaris.
Apollonus01 question: did they say anything about the galaxies from behind the scenes? Why didn't they mention any news about it?
Because I think when the build comes, they're going to mention it.
Yeah, I think the galaxy probably doesn't have.
Why we told you about it?
going.
Because I was like, man, there's going to be so many people that are getting rid of that galaxy.
Yep.
I think most people picked it for it's a cheap man's Pioneer.
Yep, and
I think once that now they well that was my first thought. I'm like, well, I don't need my galaxy anymore.
yep,
I'm going to get a build CCU.
yeah. I think the key thing that we both heard from John Crew is that if it's not on the shop, it's never been sold.
It's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's subject. To
that was
change.
his words. In get on.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
So it's not been sold. So Galaxy is guaranteed to have the manufacturing, the cargo, and the medical.
Yep.
Not guaranteed to have manufacturing.
Yep.
And I think with the build,
And I think the other part is never say never.
Yep.
So yeah.
The build would indicate probably not, but then the phrase that kept coming up time and time again was never say never. So I'd get an upgrade to the.
We've probably said that more
and,
today than we did yesterday, though. At this point.
Yep. Get an upgrade to the build and hang on to it if you're not sure.
Apologies, John and Ben, if you're watching or were watching.
Yep. Questions: do you think the Vulture's crafting station will have a feature parity with ground-based crafting? I think it's just a very small manufacturing plant.
Yeah. I think can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
The number of people at CIG that kind of said they watched this and stuff through me as well. I think that was the other thing. Like I being in my little island home, I just thought we were
I just thought we were
nothing. And then you come here and like the sheer number of people that stop you and shake your hand
when
and say
devs say
thanks.
they
And
watch it.
devs,
Like
humbling as fuck.
we were told the other day that you saved me a lot of money with CCUs.
Yeah.
This is from a dev.
Yep. Asking us about CCUs and shit.
Yeah.
Like you're a fucking dev. Why don't you just go up to John Crew and say, tell me how to do
John,
this
I
bitch?
need this
Well, he's
ship.
probably not the right person, but you know what I mean.
John, I need this ship.
Yeah.
What ship do I
Message him at work and just say, hey.
That we said that.
Yeah. We actually said, you've got access. Just ask him.
But
or ask the marketing guy or whatever. But
it was literally, guys, I've got a question for you. I've got a Galaxy, I've got a Carrack and an Odyssey. Which one should I have?
Yeah.
I'm interested in.
they're just people. They're not superheroes. They don't wear Speedos on the outside or capes. They're just regular, really passionate people. And they are essentially, in a weird way, it's all their lives' work. Like you can see they're all pouring the passion in.
How many devs have you come across that were backers?
Oh, a lot.
Like most of the devs
almost
I've come across
all. They
were
started
backers
out that
before
way.
they started.
Yeah.
One dev we came across, his mum had backed for him when he was a kid.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
Another one was a teenager when he started.
Was the guy that brought his mum.
Yeah,
as well. He started and she started playing with him.
Yeah, but that wasn't a dev.
No, but it's still
it's that type of.
I'm just saying, like one pulls in the next, and even some of the devs we met they got a job here and they pulled their partner in and they pulled the partner into the game, etc.,
Yeah.
etc.
So to go back slightly to the question we had,
Yeah.
Smelly Sloth has a question. Which would you go for, Galaxy or build? If you're after building, base building, you definitely go build.
Yeah. If you like the refining and the medical, then yeah.
And I would argue even if the Galaxy has building or base building, the build will be better because it's specialized.
I'd agree with that. Yes. Based on what? Yes.
Based on what
that's
John was
100% correct.
John was saying, you know,
Yep.
the modules are never as good as the specialists. So
That's it. Well,
even if the Galaxy
modules are
does have it,
just get the wordage correct. The modules are never good as variants are better than modules.
yeah. So if you've got the variant but the build, which is kind of specialist on that, versus a Galaxy that's got a module that does that,
Yeah.
the build will be a better ship, even though
And that's kind of cool because it gives you even more
steps
between things.
and variations. Dub Coyote says, question, considering insurance situation, should you be buying modules for modular ships in store instead of in game? If a module included in level 1 feels like level 2. So
It comes down to your own financial situation in a way, and it also depends on the ship, and it also depends on what gameplay you want. There's too many moving pieces there.
Yep. And I get the feeling that if you're talking about the insurance, the level 1, level 2, level 3 insurance, everyone's going to have a chance to upgrade.
And you'd agree with me on this, though. Generally speaking, ships cost more than modules.
Yep.
So, for example, we don't really generally recommend a master set anymore. We generally will go, you're better off to get 3 endeavors and it still works out cheaper type of thing.
If you buy the master set, you're paying the cost for 3 ships.
Yeah.
But you
can only use
half. And you've got 15,
was it almost 3.5 endeavors, wasn't it?
3.5
So you can't use all those modules. So you essentially, if you buy a master set, you need to go buy like another 3 endeavors.
Yep.
So you're almost better off buying 1 endeavor and the modules and just using what you want, or just buying 1 endeavor and earning the. If you don't have any other ship to earn, obviously you need to buy the modules. That's the other part of it. If you don't have a way to earn modules, then you just need the modules. That's it.
Yep. Noskaven says, do you think Star Citizen 1.0 will be out before 2030 or sooner or later? I think we've answered that in terms of why Odin's not there. I think it's coming out.
There's a lot of people theorizing the late date might be so they could come out near each other too.
Yep. But I think 1.0 will come out before Squadron, which means before.
Let's be honest. The other part was that demo, that gameplay. That was more polished than most games.
Yep.
But I think a part of it is they've got so much hate that they just want to almost slap people in the face with how good it is.
Yep. But I also think one of the reasons they were talking 2026, which is something that was raised in one of the talks we had, is the fact that they want to do that the cross languages, the
localization.
The localization between. They want all the localization to come out at the same time.
Be very careful.
It is my understanding. So,
is it an area that he might not, should not talk about? There were things we were told that
I'm not going
we're trying
any
not
further
to talk
than
about.
that.
Yeah. Just warning you because I was worried.
No, I wasn't intending to go any further than that. I'm aware of what we were asked not to talk about. Which is hard when you just have but
that's why we can check each other.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Something comes up, and please don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Question.
But unlike solo creators, we can check each other too.
Yep.
That's what I was doing, just checking.
Yep. Question: have you guys enjoyed your time in UK? Yes, so far.
Except when I spent all that time with John and being sick.
Yeah.
I love my time with John. He's awesome.
Did you try to look at? I tried to look out for you guys at Citizencon, but I couldn't find you.
Well, we're still in Manchester. If you reach out, you can come and have lunch with us or something.
And how did it go? How did it sit down with John Crew go? It was great.
It was great.
We had an hour and a half chat with John Crew and Ben, and that was awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
So, and that
one of the highlights. Actually, there's been a lot of highlights. That's hard to pick one. It really is.
That was a highlight.
There was different things for different things. Even just sitting down with Sandy was relaxing.
I really enjoyed that because it was nice catching up with
well, it's been so long since it was like 2018 last time.
So
the last
time I really had that chat with Sandy was during COVID. Yeah. When we were looking at doing stuff and
but the physical sit down was 10 years ago.
Yeah, the physical
2014.
The physical sit down was 10 years ago, and we did the same thing back then.
That's it. It just goes back to
So So, and that was our last question. So we can log off and
We're
Sarah
gone?
and the girls here will be very happy that we're
Yeah,
going.
they'll be sick of us because we've been here for so long.
We have. We've been here for now close to 3 hours.
They can be ready to throw us out the window, I think.
Yeah, they'll be ready to
Well,
toss
look,
out the window.
it was daytime when we started, and now, the city is sleeping, or trying to, I think.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything you want to add, Agrid?
Nope. My voice is done.
Well,
You're done.
I don't feel any better than when I got here, but I also don't feel that much worse. So I'm surprised we got through it. Well, it's very taxing, you know that.
It is. Well,
So you've taken the brunt today.
It is always taxing when you're out answering questions and reading questions.
It's mentally taxing.
It is mentally taxing.
It's not something we don't hate doing, but it's just very draining.
It does drain the voice as well.
I will say no lights is a plus, though.
Yeah. The ambient lighting here is not too bad.
Yeah,
you know,
no, but
we
we're
do have the light
usually in-
ahead and behind, and
We're usually in floodlights. This camera's pretty good at low light, though. So
it is pretty good at low light, which is really nice about the Osmo.
Yeah. So we are taking the opportunity since yesterday. We did it yesterday off the cuff, and then today it was like, well, we're
Why
not
not?
together very often, so we might even do another one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is a rarity.
I did suggest that to Kelly,
Yeah.
who was in chat.
Yeah,
there.
but
if you're around, come and join us. If you
yeah,
want.
if they want, you know, again, we don't want to put pressure on people. But yeah, if one of you guys are around, if you're still in Manchester,
we're in Manchester tomorrow, and then
you know, if a couple of you
and
reach out,
after
we'll
that,
just do a
we
big
are-
lunch or something, or a big breakfast, or early lunch, or early dinner.
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure out a time.
well,
But
I may have another big breakfast here because it was bloody awesome.
yeah,
Very expensive, but
it's
if
rubbing
you
it in.
eat lots,
yeah. What have I had all day? Do you remember what I've eaten all day?
2 pieces of toast.
I've had 2 pieces of toast.
2 pieces of toast. I did try and encourage you to
Yeah,
have
I
it dry,
know.
but you wouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
But that was like I was the first week.
Yeah, it's basically
In fact,
flipped. Yeah.
I think in the first week I had 4 pieces of toast.
Yeah.
So
So I'm gonna get some food. But yeah, very humbling to meet everyone. I wish there was more time.
that is probably that's the thing that
Yeah.
gets me. But the time just
Yeah. If you're coming for the Citizencon, like the panels and shit, stay at home. If you're into people, oh boy. That's why
if
you're
into
coming.
meeting people. That's what you come for.
Now I've done it once, I would totally do it different again.
Yeah.
But when it did work,
Yeah.
the metrics tell us people really like
Yeah.
that.
The metrics tell us people liked the idea we had, so it tells us what we wanted to do was definitely
Yeah.
go.
Like, what was that? 50,000 views on the first day and 20,000 on the second. That's bananas to me.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's just us trying to. that
Well,
was
we
us
just
trying
didn't
to
do anything on the second day, really. The first day, the whole queue at the start,
and the whole thing died, and it was. But yeah, so I think we'd try it again, but we certainly would do the approach different in terms of how we powered the internet.
Right, with
Anyway,
that,
on that note,
I don't know what I'm going to eat, but I'll
he's been
find some.
execute,
He's been hardened.
and we're out of here. Take care, civilians.
See you, citizens. There's a nice photo of us.